Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Weekend Warriors Custom Paints and Diecast Australian Stock Car Championship. We are here at round 30 for the second round of the Inside Lane Productions Triple Crown event here at the beautiful Indianapolis Motor Speedway, a very popular track, a track steeped in history. And tonight I am going to be your commentator, Mr. Carl Wilkinson, with you, and joining me up here in the booth, I have Mr. Matty Hunter on the comms and doing the camera work as well. How you going, Matt?
Yeah, good evening, Carl. Pleasure to be here, and looking forward to the second round of the Triple Crown.
And we, of course, are brought to you and here, without a gun pointed at our heads, by Mr. Mark Johansson. The boss, indeed, is here up in the booth, keeping us in check.
Good evening, Carl. Good evening, Matt. What a great night for another great race.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting one, and of course, Indianapolis full of frills and spills. So we're just heading into the qualifying session. Of course, we did mention this second round of the Triple Crown. Currently, the leader of the Triple Crown is Andrew Dyson, with Edward Foster in second, Dave Douglas third, Dylan O'Shea sitting in fourth, with Justin Witcher in fifth, Aidan Schultz in sixth, seventh we have Reuben Phelps, Stevie Dubb in eighth, ninth is Mr. Mark Smith, and Jamie Nankervis running out the 10 in the Inside Lane Productions Triple Crown points. Of course, we have the regular season standings you would have seen at the start of the broadcast as well. So getting into qualifying now. So we'll keep our eyes on the cars on the track, of course, and see who can get that pole lap under their belts. So we're just on board now with
Mark. Number
Mark.
14 with Mark himself.
With Mr. Mark himself, seeing how he does, of course, and that will put all the pressure on him for the qualifying lap. Qualifying, of course, not the most important thing here at Indianapolis, but getting out of the way of the possible issues at the start can be a good thing. You see, it's quite a narrow section across the start-finish line. Coming into turn one, just a little lift off the throttle as you go through this section. You just need to be very cautious of the car wandering up the track. Very easy to do. You can go too wide through these sections, but it is tricky at the start, especially on cold tyres. Getting out onto the back straight now. Very fast part of the track, of course. Getting good speed down this section up to 298 to 300 kilometers per hour now. Dipping the nose in on the brakes slightly, just getting the car turned in. Important. You can sometimes lift through there, sometimes just a little dab of brake just to get the car nose turned in through these corners. Very easy to run wide on this section of turn 4. Very easy to collect the wall as it juts towards you. Good lap here from Mark, getting across the line for his first lap, popping him up into, whereabouts are we? 9th position. So sometimes the second lap is the faster lap here, of course. The tyres are a bit more up to temperature. So currently on the pole spot is JCW, Joshua Carroll Walden for Natari, with Reuben Phelps just behind him. So they are setting some good laps. On board with Mark here and see how the second lap lines up for him. As we jump to the onboard here, and you can see just how tight the corner gets, and it is quite a narrow track. You wouldn't believe it, but it is quite a narrow track when you're racing, especially heading through the speeds of 200 to 300 kilometers per hour. Very easy to make the mistake. Gets nice and close to the wall there, and that's what you need to do to get the speed off of the corner. Second lap's about to be set. Across the line we go, and that locks Mark into 15th, I believe.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah,
Correct, 15th place, yep.
So just watching at the moment, Tristan Koch, the 550 at the moment, just heading for his second lap. Big mention tonight for the 550 out there. His 50th start for the Weekend Warriors series. So he's going to hope he can top that off with some good points tonight as he crosses the line. Sitting in 7th position, a good qualifying lap there from Tristo.
Was indeed. I'm just having a look to see if there's a few more qualifiers out there. I do want to make a bit of an adjustment. The sound is pretty low, so I will make an adjustment to sound soon.
We've got Brian Messer out there.
That's right, in the 54.
54, there we go.
He's the only American tonight too, so
we've got an American on the grid. That's always nice. We'll see how that goes. Of course, it's the opposite way round for them, of course, because they get they get all the ping and the the internet troubles. Hopefully, though, won't be affecting tonight. First lap for Brian Messer there, 53.2. Currently about 6 tenths off the lead. So he's going to be looking to improve on this one on his second run. So, Mark, since you finished your qualifying, how was the car out there in the qualifying run?
Yeah, it was good. It just gets those first couple of laps, as you said, Carl, very skatey coming out of 2 and out of 4, where you're trying to get back on the gas really, really quick. And it really does push you out towards that outside wall. So guys are just going to have to be careful of that early in the stints.
Yeah, it is a really tricky bit of the track, and obviously with cold tyres, it can really catch you out. The last race I actually drove in was here in this car at Indianapolis, so it's been a bit of time since I was last in the seat, unfortunately, due to back problems. But at least I have some track knowledge of this place. So let us have a look at the starting grid. Just get that up now. So, up on pole position on the front row of the grid, it is the leader of the Triple Crown event. It's Andrew Dyson taking pole position with Joshua Carroll Walden on his outside row. Watch out for JCW, he is very good at these fast super speedways. Second row of the grid, it is Dave Douglas. He's going to be hoping for a good night tonight, sitting third currently in the Triple Crown stands with Dylan O'Shea in fourth on that second row. Third row of the grid is Phelps and Mark Smith. Fourth row of the grid is Toby Stent with Tristan Koch. Fifth row, we have Foster and Drady. Sixth row is Skurlock and Nixon. Seventh row, we have Henderson and Pritchard. Eighth row is Norman Clark with Brad Fanley. Ninth row, we have Kobe Jordan with Adam Ariel. On the 10th row is the American and Mr. Mark Johansson. Brian Messer and Mr. Mark Yo, as we said. Luke Kenny and Maddie Ray are on the next row of the line. Jay Schultz and Jamie Curvis line up towards the back, with Brett Campbell starting at the tail end of the grid tonight. Good place to start sometimes down at the back, because you can avoid that action. And watch out for people like Maddie Ray, who's going to be fighting his way through the field. So we have 25 cars lining up here for Indianapolis. Obviously, it can be a bit of a tricky race here. Fuel can be key to a good race, and getting that stint length there. You see there, Dyson just lighting up that car, getting the rear temperature into those tyres as well. Dylan O'Shea also doing that in the DPR cars. Obviously, with this new generation of, we're saying new generation, it's been around for a while now, but this year is its first year. But the tyre temperature is key, and getting those tyres up to an operating temperature fast can be useful here. Obviously, race temperature, we are looking at 33 degrees for the track temp. So it's not the hottest we've seen, 23 degrees, air temperature, so it's not going to be too hot out there. That can be useful for these guys. Obviously, when you're running very close to the car in front of you, it can build up engine temperature, so you have to be a little bit cautious of that. But with track temperatures around 33 degrees, not too much to worry about the tyres getting too hot and overheating and that becoming a problem, which, as I say, it can be a bit of a nasty one when it gets there. Say fuel is going to be key for this race, and if you can get an extra lap or two out of the fuel tank, that can be very useful, because sometimes that can pay off if there is a caution. So expect to see a few people trying to get that trick under their belt, and of course staying on the lead lap as well. So we'll see how that one runs.
We'll see how the sound goes. I've cranked it up. It might be a little bit too loud, but we'll see how it goes. I'm struggling to hear myself think with the when the cars come by, so hopefully they'll spread out a little bit and won't be so bad.
Yeah, that's the problem. The engines are very loud, although it's great to hear. I mean, it's nice to have a big rumbly engine, but sometimes it can be a bit loud to think. So, as we come around to get ready for the start here for the second round of the Inside Lane Productions Triple Crown event, it is Dyson leading. He puts his foot down and we go green for round 2 of the Triple Crown here for the Weekend Warriors Custom Paints and Diecast Australian Stock Car Championship. Dyson gets a nice lead. Look at Dave Douglas trying to get through on the low line of Joshua Carroll-Walden at the moment. Dylan O'Shea just sliding in behind him. Could see JCW losing a few spots here as he's forced up onto that high line early in this race. That can be a difficult position to stay with those cold tyres. Looks like a clean start from everybody, not seeing any troubles further back, so that's good to see. They've got around the first corner without trouble. Side by side for JCW and Dylan O'Shea at the moment as they come down towards turn 3 for the first time in the race. It is O'Shea with the inside line. JCW on the high there, gets held out very high. Has to ease off a little bit more, doing a great job of holding it there for the moment though. Bit of action further back with Skurlock, and we see there Joshua Carroll just gives the wall a bit of a tap on the exit of turn 4, and that's what you've got to be careful of in these early stages. Not too much damage to the Natari car by the looks of it, but that could come to play later in this race. Aero damage is not a thing to be having here.
Yeah, it's all go so far, Carl. It's a good call so far. Plenty of action going on up and down throughout the field. But everyone seems to be sort of sliding into single file now, and in saying that, it looks like Foster, I think, has got a bit of a run.
Yeah, Foster's got a little bit of a run at the moment on, I think it's Mark Smith there, just getting the inside line, and he takes that position. Nice run there from Foster. Smith just easing off a little bit there, just so he doesn't run too wide. Smart move, smart driving there from Mark Smith. A little bit further up the grid, Reuben Phelps just having a battle with Toby Stent. So those guys having a little bit of a battle. Mark Smith dropping a few positions. I wonder if he just got a little bit wide in one of those corners and lost a couple of seconds. Dyson has got a commanding lead at the moment of almost 4/10, so he's managed to pull out a bit of a gap on Dave Douglas. Stent just into the wall there. Stent, sorry, just glancing the wall in turn 2. Doesn't look like there's too much damage, but easy to do in the early stages of this race.
Yeah, you don't want to be hitting the wall too this early in the race. It's a long distance to go, and yeah, you certainly want to be protecting the car a bit more than that.
Yeah, it can really add up as the laps go on, and as we know with this new gen car, the damage model is absolutely superb, but if you get up into that wall, it can cause a nasty bit of damage, and sometimes damage the toe links. JCW having a big moment there on the exit of 4, and I wonder if that damage is starting to come into play. Of course, it will be a little bit of aero damage there, but it was in that position just behind Dylan O'Shea where he would have got a little bit of aero wash, and it could be that his car's not handling absolutely perfectly.
No, he definitely got contact with the wall, and there was a bit of a puff of smoke came out of it as well, so doesn't look to be too much damage to that right front, although I can't get a good clear shot of it. Yeah, just need to be a bit aware of that. Could be the aero wash, as I think Douglas has closed right up in the back of Dyson here. Douglas was looking very strong in practice. Yeah,
and we should say as well, we're talking about JCW as a ringer on the super speedways, but Dave Douglas is well known as a contender on these tracks. He just glances the wall there actually. Dave just catching the wall on the exit of turn 4. Not as heavy as JCW, but just a little tap there, and that's just scratched up the nose of the casting couch entry. Just a little bit of front end damage on that car, and we see the back end just stepping out a little bit there for Dave.
Yeah, maybe the rear tyre a little bit hot there and stepping out. It looked like he was trying to get himself a big exit off the corner, because that's how you get your passing down here. Is you want to get a really good exit out of the corner, carry as much speed as you can, and hopefully by the time you get to the end of the straight in front of you, you'll be a couple of kilometres an hour quicker than the car in front of you, and make the pass on the inside.
Yeah, absolutely. Getting the exit of the corner right is so important here at Indianapolis, of course. Looking at 4 kilometres of oval track racing, of course, in old school money. That's
as we see JCW here doing a classic example of that. He got a great run out of the corner, and O'Shea's still fighting, holding on the outside there. But yeah, he got a great exit of turn 4 and used that speed down the straight, got the overlap, but he's just not able to clear. O'Shea's hanging on pretty well on the outside.
as they're looking to go 3 wide down the straight, as Stent gets a great run off the corner. JCW is in the middle of this pack as they come down towards the corner. Contact between JCW and O'Shea. They hold the cars there somehow. Managed to save that one. That would have definitely woken them all up there. Great driving, great way of holding the car. I think actually Stent really helped O'Shea off there, just bounced him back into position. So sort of held him in position there. But that has helped Toby Stent get right up into 3rd position. So really nice run there from Stent, getting that 3 wide, forcing JCW in the middle, and he just got that, looked like he just got that sort of aero wash coming over and forced himself up high, getting that little contact with O'Shea, and that has cost him a huge amount of positions.
So it looks like a little bit of frustration going on there as well. Able to get good runs off the corner, but not able to get the pass completed. And yeah, Stent was obviously JCW and O'Shea slowed each other down by running 2 wide, and Stent got an awesome run off the corner and was able to use that speed and blow past both of them. But it looked like maybe the incident between O'Shea and JCW might have been just a case of they thought they were clear, but they weren't, because it was pretty much they sort of moved towards each other at the same time, so maybe they thought they were clear, but yeah. But see JCW have a bit of a moment off turn 4 there, and he's going to lose another spot.
I was about to say we might see a repeat of that action, as Reuben Phelps was looking to try and sneak it up there as well. Looks like the 35 is really struggling out there. Just does not look settled at the moment. And that could be from that little bit of front end damage, or it could be just those tyres getting up to temp, just being a little bit too hot as well. But as you're saying, it's all about that exit of the corner. If you get the draft as well, what we're talking about when the cars are running side by side, they lose speed, of course, is because when you're single file here, you don't run as fast because you don't have that car in front of you punching a big hole in the air for you so that you get up to those speeds. So Stent almost got a double draft there as Foster gets contact into the wall. JCW moves out of the line to save that one. Cars are not looking absolutely solid out here tonight. Quite a few people getting caught out by turn 4 as we see Reuben Phelps making the move on JCW now, the 06, down the inside of the 35 at the moment. JCW held up high, but looks like Phelps could get it here. He's got a nice exit of the corner. JCW gets a little bit wobbly on the exit there. This will help Phelps with speed, but he's got his teammate in front of him, Joshua Carroll-Walden, which will help him have a little bit more straight line speed as that hole's being punched in the air. Reuben doesn't quite have that advantage. Into turn 3 they go. JCW closes the door there, gets down in front of Reuben, but that car is really not looking settled. Lots of wobbles from the 35.
Yeah, I did hear in practice that it was a bit of a handful to hold on to. It was a little bit loose, but yeah, it's certainly looking that way. A number of drivers are making contact with that wall. They want to just be careful that those cumulative hits don't keep building up and cause a bit of damage. But I tell you, out the front though, Dyson and Douglas are just loving all the battling behind, because those two are just clearing out now. They're a good about 2.5 seconds almost clear to 3rd place.
Well, the other thing they've got to keep an eye out for as well with those contacts on the wall is not building up the penalty count. Of course, if you get every time you make contact with a wall in iRacing, you get what we call an X, and they can build up over a race. And sometimes, if you get too many of them, you can look at yourself getting a drive-through or even disqualified. So you've got to be a little bit cautious. So sometimes discretion is the best part of valor in those respects. But as you say, Dyson and Douglas have pulled out a huge lead at the front. They are running away at the moment. Not too much action going on back there, but up a little bit further in the field, we've got Foster making a move on O'Shea now into turn 2. Foster gets a beautiful run there, pushes O'Shea wide, opens the door for JCW to have a bit of a sniff. He can't quite make the pass. O'Shea drops down to try and get the run on Foster now. He's going to try and get that little bit of draft on Foster to get an attack back on him in turns 3 and 4. Will he be able to make it work? Not quite. Looks like Foster's got some good speed in that car.
Yeah, it's good. He just had genuine speed to be able to get the pass done there. Slowly working his way up now. He'll be looking to catch Stent.
Yeah, he's got to do a bit of work now because Stent's managed to pull away a little bit as well, of course. Quite a bit of action going towards the back of the grid as well. I'm just looking at the 080 of Kobe Jordan. This battle is
The hornet's
absolutely
nest.
full on.
Yeah.
It is, yeah. There's
I-
a lot of black and yellow cars there that are very angry.
I just jumped back there and there's a whole group of cars all on top of each other. That yellow car is very striking. What's that one? Luke Kenny?
Kenny.
That's very striking. I like it. I like the yellow. I think because I drove something similar a couple of years ago, a yellow and a black combo like that.
I was about to say that's not too surprising considering those were your colours for a long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
What
a
a great
nice
paint
standout colour.
Looks
They're,
really, really good.
There are a sneak peek of next year's cars, so they've done a nice job on them. Those three.
Yeah, they look really, really good. That's Luke Kenny.
Oh, Dave Douglas has had a huge moment up the front. Douglas has gone around. We've not had a caution, but Douglas going into turn 3. He's lost the rear of the car. Huge moment for him. Gets down, loses the rear of the car just as he gets close to the apron. Doesn't touch the apron. Manages to save it from hitting the barrier, but has a huge tank slapper. Spins it around on the low line. Great save from Douglas, though. He has used up one of his 9 lives.
Yes, indeed. Let's have a look and see if we can see what happened in the replay. He's already slowed there, so...
Yeah, it was just coming into turn 1, I think. He gets down sort of a normal line. He doesn't actually touch the apron. But the back end just steps out.
Steps out.
Steps out for no reason. Really weird one, that one. It's caught him by surprise, obviously, because he thought that car would be running fine through there, and all of a sudden it stepped out on him for no well-explained reason, and just absolutely gone round. But a great save from Douglas, and managed to keep it so the caution didn't come out.
Yeah, he's kept it off the wall as well, no damage. Yeah, great job.
What I'm finding, boys, is if you do get down there on that pole line, on that white line, it becomes really loose in the rear end, as you're saying. So ideally, you want to be about half a car length off to a car length off it, and the same with 1 and 2.
Well, as motorsport fans will know, those white lines can be a bit greasy sometimes, especially in wet weather. Move up for Dylan O'Shea and Toby Stent at the moment. Dylan O'Shea and Stent side by side. Stent's trying to get the run off the line. So close to making contact on the exit there, but they get through. Squeeze job by O'Shea, but beautiful driving to get through there. Stent's going to get a good run here onto the straight. He tries to get past.
Block. I wouldn't
Big
block.
block.
If you block, you get sent. Oh.
That was O'Shea is lucky there, because I think any other driver may have given him a little bit more of a nudge there. Stent being a bit of a gentleman there to O'Shea.
Yeah, I think so. There was a bit of a slide job there, which I don't think Stent appreciated. Rightly so, and then a big block there. I tell you what, I wouldn't have lifted. And you throw a block, and if the driver chooses not to lift, and you get sent, that's tough luck for you. Don't block.
Dave Douglas has just pulled to the infield, so I don't know what's happened out of turn 2.
Yeah, he's got a lot of damage on the right front. He's had a big off on the exit of turn 4. He had who was that? Brad Messer behind him. He's had a huge slide off the exit of turn 4. Managed to keep the car off the wall until right at the end. Unfortunately, it was good car control until the very end there for Douglas in the 10. But unfortunately, the back end just gripped up on the very end there. You see it just before this, actually.
I think that's the end of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's when he decided to park it.
Yeah, so that's the part there. So the back end just really steps out a huge amount on the save. So he saves it, and then all of a sudden it bites and has a huge nibble of the wall. And I think that is Dave out of this race. Possibly some damage to the toe link.
Yeah, it's a big hit right on the right angle to hit the tyre.
And he's not
been able to get down. Yeah.
Looks like Brad Finley's had something happen too, because he's just done the same thing. He's pulled to the inside of the turn 2.
Yeah, and he's got a lot of damage on the right front. A much heavier hit for him. Same place, exactly, almost a carbon copy of the Douglas incident. His back end steps out on him. He tries to save it, and then all of a sudden it grips up as he gets onto the straight, and it goes straight up into the wall. He holds it in the middle of the track because he's got cars flying past him. He's trying to figure out where's the best line to sort of keep it, and Yeah, unfortunate there for Fanley in the VB entry. That's a big lot of damage there, and I think the steering has gone on that car as well.
Yeah.
I think he's taken a towing out as well. Just looking up the front because the gap is closing for the lead. Dyson is losing time to Foster now, so I think maybe that early push is starting to hurt Dyson. Maybe his tyres are falling off a little bit because it looks like he's losing a bit of time. He's still able to set some quick laps, but the gap has closed an enormous amount. Let's see what the lap's like this time round. 53.9 for Dyson. Sorry, 54.5 for Dyson and 54.1 for Foster. So Foster has got a lot more speed in that car now. I think that early run of pushing it too hard has come back to bite Dyson, and that may have been the reason we saw Douglas going up into the wall as well.
Yeah, I'm seeing a number of cars snapping loose off that turn 4 exit now, which is maybe the heat in the tyres is causing that. But I've just got the previous lap times up there, so we can sort of see and compare the best lap times. Sorry, the last lap times from everybody. So everyone's pretty consistent. Except Foster's pretty quick. Everyone's around that 54.5, 54.6 mark, but Foster was at 54.1, so he's pushing pretty quick at the moment.
Another turn 4 casualty, Brian Messer.
Reuben Phelps has a...
Look, they're coming thick and fast tonight, the turn 4 casualties.
Yeah.
Reuben Phelps very lucky to not have a bigger incident there. Messer had a big snap again, went up into the wall a little bit earlier than the rest, but he managed to pull it into pit lane. But he has taken that car behind the wall. I think we've also lost Willie Brett Campbell as well, the 015. I believe that may be from technical issues, unfortunately, for Campbell. So some technical issues there for Campbell. But we've had, what's that, 3 cars now taking a big bite out of turn 4. You've seen some of the leaders as well. Foster, JCW also take a nibble of that wall. I think Dave Douglas might be... Oh, no, sorry, he's still sitting in the pit lane, sorry. Timing screen's just flipped that wrong. But turn 4 is definitely the problem area tonight, and I must say, last time I raced here, turn 4 was catching a lot of people out as well. It is a tricky corner here, and you sort of look at the tracks and go, well, how is it tricky? It's a big square. Every corner's the same, but they have their little nuances, they have their little differences, and turn 4 with that exit, it can really catch you out quickly.
I'm seeing a number of cars are all wiggling on the back there and stepping out of the corners. Mainly that turn 4, but yeah, there's a few issues in turn 3 as well, and it's interesting. We sort of got to that lap sort of 17, 18 mark, and everybody's really having the same issues all at once.
Yeah, the times have absolutely dropped as well. They have tumbled to the low 50, sorry, the late 54s even, low 55s. As, was that Foster into the wall there on 4 as well? Yes, Foster has a big hit of the wall. And also Phelps as well has another moment. Foster had a huge bite out of the wall on the right rear of the car. So he's got some right rear damage there. And what's happened to Drady as well? Something with Paul Drady. He's had a big moment as well. Paul Drady's had a huge moment up into the wall, into turn 1. There's been, just in front of him, it was Pritchard, I think. It's been a big incident with Connor Nixon, Tom Pritchard. Pritchard and Nixon have made contact, and that has caused Drady to go up into the wall. So, big accident there for those cars involved, but no caution. There is some serious damage, though, for a lot of those drivers. Brenton Henderson as well, another car to suffer a big hit as well on the exit of turn 4, I believe. The 81 also becoming another victim of that corner.
Oh, it's happening fucking fast now, that's for sure.
Drivers are definitely struggling tonight. It is really tricky to drive by the looks of things. And as I say, last time I raced was here in this car, and I could say it looks worse than when I raced last time, which would have been a couple of months ago. So it is it's looking pretty rough out there.
It is. It's kind of weird. It was almost quiet for the first 15 laps, and then all of a sudden it's all cars are hitting the wall and dropping off left, right and centre.
It is indeed. But up at the front, we have the battle for the lead happening. We've got half a second separating Dyson and Foster. And just looking back as well, Michael Skurlock trying to make a move, as well as Toby Stent. Stent making a move on O'Shea. And he's going to get through there, gets the slide job up. And those two are battling as well. Will we see a bit of action from Stent? Skurlock making the move on JCW. There's a little bit of rub in there between Stent and O'Shea. They are pushing hard. These two, definitely no love lost between these two cars tonight.
It's certainly run them high there a bit, eh? It's you want to be careful. So we're going to see O'Shea get through. Is Stent going to try the crossover again? Got loose out of the exit of turn 3 there and wasn't able to keep the momentum.
I tell you what, Stent was being very polite there on the back of O'Shea. If he had just a little bit more pedal in there, just had a little bit more fuel in the car, that could have been a little bit of a turn there.
Yeah, I certainly think 80 laps later in that situation, I don't think it's going to be so kind.
No, Matty Ray actually having a big moment as well on the exit of 4. Another driver to have a big moment. He saved it, no damage to that car. Unsurprising for Matty Ray, so keeping the car clean, but he had a big slide off there, back end stepping out for him as well. So cars really being caught out on turn 4 tonight. It is becoming problematic. Meanwhile, just jumping back to Colin Nixon. He has got a huge line of cars waiting to make a pass on him. It looks like Tom Pritchard in the 6 is going to make the move. Nixon lose the rear end on the exit of turn 3 there, I think we're at. Back end steps out. Oh, so close.
Oh.
Rubs onto Pritchard, manages to hold the car clean there. Looks like Tristan Koch is going to make a move, as well as Norman Clark. They're running 3 wide at the moment as they come down towards turn 1. Who is going to be the brave of all? Looks like Tristan Koch in the middle is going to do it. He's taken his brave pill tonight. Slides up a little bit in front of Nixon. Will Clark be able to capitalise on this one? Can't quite yet. Nixon's going to drop a couple of places still. Norman Clark sitting in the middle there. Nice job from all the drivers. That was dicey. Good racing there.
Wow, that was awesome. That was a good move into there, and a good move from Tristan Koch to hold that position there and get in. And unfortunately, Norman's not been able to keep the same momentum and to get the pass done, so he's going to have to work on it again and try and get a run. But as Nixon, he's just that purple car isn't coming, and they're trying to work out where to go to avoid it. But he's holding position for now.
Grady there having a huge moment off turn 4, and Matty Ray's at the tail end of this field as well. Just looking, another connection issue, so another DNF for Skurlock actually. So that's 2 drivers we've seen having some technical failures tonight, unfortunately, and that's a shame because Michael Skurlock was up there running in 5th position. So that's a huge loss to the race tonight. Unfortunate there. We saw Brett Campbell as well having an issue with connection. So obviously it's not just turn 4 tonight that's biting a few people. The internet fairies are out in their masses and causing some problems too.
Yeah,
and it's unfortunate for those guys too that we've got a 25% rule, so you have to make 25% of the race to be classed as or classified as running the race. So and I think it's 35 tonight, or around 30-35.
Yeah.
So anyone who doesn't that 35 laps don't get points.
Yeah, that's a big shame. It's the only good part, I guess, is the car hopefully is not damaged and they can maybe get back on, get out to get some circulation around. But it is a real shame because it's things like that. It's almost akin to a mechanical failure. That's the sort of mechanical failure of sim racing when your internet drops, unfortunately. And it is not very fun when that happens. Just watching here the battle of the race at the moment from P8 onwards. It's Tom Pritchard in the lead of this group. He's pulling out a little bit of a gap on the 50 man himself. The 5. Oh, Clark having a big snap off for turn 4 there. Good save. Drady just jumping like a cat out the way there. Good save by those guys. But the 550 celebrating his 50th start here for Weekend Warriors. So we're hoping Tristan Koch can have a good run tonight.
Just to let you into a little secret that I'm not telling you, start looking for guys to jump into the pits in about 10 to 11 laps.
Yeah, they'll be needing to stop for fuel at least in about 7 laps.
We think roughly,
So,
yeah. From about
yeah.
lap 35 onwards, we should probably see people pitting, depending on how good your fuel mileage is. But yeah, sort of 36 to 38 maybe.
I wonder if people are going to come in a slight bit earlier for tyres, though, because,
Yeah,
big moment again for Nixon. Oh,
there's some cars out there hanging on by a thread. They're so out of control. They're doing an awesome job of keeping the car circulating.
They are indeed. I mean, they're basically running on canvas, it looks like, at the moment. These cars are so slippery. And you see that Jamie Van Curvis working his way past Norman Clark. But Nixon, he had a huge slide off turn 4. Good saves by the people out there. Just keeping an eye on the battle at the front as well. Foster sitting behind Dyson, not in an urgent rush to pass him at the moment. He's just happy enough sitting behind and watching. Dylan O'Shea, Toby Stent still having their little action, but nothing much happening there. They're sort of sitting in line. JCW is Billy No Mates at the moment in the middle of this group. He's sort of sat in an unenviable spot, really, a bit too far away to catch the draft. And he's sort of sitting in no man's land. Reuben Phelps in 6th position with Mark Smith behind him, those two running in a good, consistent way. Then we have Tom Pritchard, as we say, the leader of that big battle group in 8th, 9th Tristan Koch, and then Connor Nixon, who is just going to get passed by Jamie Van Curvis by the looks of things. And I think we can see Brad Fanley just exiting pit lane.
We've got to be careful too, guys. We've only got 4 sets of tyres tonight, so it's going to be interesting.
That's right, that was Jai Schultz. So Jai Schultz is the first driver to stop properly. So he's come in for a actual stop. Jai Schultz in the Ford Ferrari. So he's actually made his stop now. So it'll be interesting to see how this works out. And it'll be interesting to see what his times are. Huge lot of smoke there as well.
Yeah,
that keeps coming to pit lane. JCW is in pit lane. I wonder if that was just him locking his tyres. So JCW having a big lock-up as he enters pit lane. So the first of that lead group is JCW. Paul Drady in as well. So we've got our first stops coming in now. And I think it's more so for tyres than fuel.
Yeah, I think if, as Mark's saying, you've got 4 sets of tyres. So if you do 30 laps every run, you can make it home on those tyres. And I think if you're struggling, you're going to want to do that. You don't want to go out to lap 35 plus.
That's it. Obviously, you lose Dyson getting so close to the wall there. You don't want to come in too early because you can lose a lot of spots if you get caught out with the pace car and if the caution falls out. But those fresh tyres, if it runs green, could be a godsend at the moment. Really help you out with the with a little bit of the undercut possibility, because as I said, they've dropped a lot of time, and it will help out a little bit if they can go. You can see Joshua Carawong just getting out in front of Dyson there. That's important for JCW because that means he's on the lead lap still. He hasn't dropped a lap, so that is good news for him. But he wants to keep that position. You can see Foster just behind Dyson now as well. So 2 Natari cars in the picture, one that's made a stop, one that hasn't. Just looking at the pit times, looking at the lap times of those guys that have stopped. I'm just going to wait for Jai Schultz to cross the line this time round to get an idea of his lap time, because that will give us a good idea of the fresh tyre advantage. Because he should set a fast one. Toby Stent coming into pit lane as well, the driver for the Japanese, from Japan, I think he's racing in. So racing over there in Japan, which is nice to see. We have lost one of our other international guests tonight. Oh, we got a caution!
Nixon's around on the front straight.
Big wreck on the front straight. That was Nixon, wasn't it?
Yep, that's right. Yep, Nixon, the 168 car.
He's been struggling with that. Just a single car spin there for Nixon.
I think he's broken the rear end. Oh no, there he goes.
No, I think he's just was a bit stuck because it can be a bit tricky. You've just got to almost flick spin the car in that position. So had a big tank slapper, so we're going to see the replay now. Oh, I tell you what, Matt. Just jump on board. Jump on board Kobe Jordan.
Kobe and Rover. Oh yeah, one of those ones you don't know where to go. Oh,
He got through there with less than a millimetre to spare. Kobe Jordan just absolute perfect positioning there. Great job from Jordan to miss that one. Good job as well from Nixon holding the brakes. He did exactly what you need to do there, holding those brakes. So Jordan knew he could actually squeeze through there, made it through. Nixon is sort of stuck in the middle of the track, and then he has to just wait for people so he can flick spin it. This is going to affect those guys that have just made a stop a little bit, of course, but they should be could work out quite well for JCW and Stent, actually. So this could pay off for those two drivers. They are on the lead lap, so we're going to see everybody coming into pit lane now on lap 34. They're going to be able to pit under caution though, and that should save them a nice heap of time. But we could see JCW or Stent jumping to the lead of this race now, as they will have caught up a little bit.
Yeah, that's hurt me. I was in pit lane when that caution come out.
Yeah. I was about to say, it looked like the one person it didn't pay off for was Mr. Mark Johansson. Of course, I think you're like the first car I could see that was almost a lap down. I think Joe Schultz is going to... you might be in line for a lucky dog.
He's hoping.
Yeah.
a few cars blew through their pits there and not lined up properly. O'Shea's had a hell of a lot of trouble getting lined up for his pit stop, and Dyson had to creep forward a little bit. I think he stopped a little bit short.
We'll see now the car's coming out, and yeah, you can see
O'Shea's going to drop a number of positions.
Phelps having an absolute stunner of a stop. Phelps jumping Foster. Phelps just absolutely perfect on his marks there. Has come out ahead of Foster. So
Tristan's yet to pit. Tristan Koch.
Yeah, Koch has stayed out.
But he maybe just stayed out to lead a lap. I'm not too sure.
Maybe just to avoid the carnage of all the cars in pit lane as well. He's not yet made a stop in this race, so surely he'll come in. I'd say he'll come in this lap.
Yeah.
Would be my guess, just to avoid some of the chaos of the cars out there.
Yeah, if we have a look at the lane times, so this is the time that they were in on pit road. Pretty even. We can see Reuben Phelps done a really good job with 47 seconds on pit road, as we see Koch come in there on the camera. But O'Shea lost about 5 seconds just having to get the car repositioned because he had a lot of trouble getting the car lined up.
Yeah, blistering stop there from Phelps. He's just going to hope he hasn't sped. That's the one thing. But I'm sure he was fine. He absolutely picked his marks perfectly and was the fastest down the lane by a long margin. Maybe not taking as much fuel as well. I mean, that might have been... maybe he just took a gallon or so less fuel, and that might have just paid off a little bit for him. But his stop time, stationary time, was only 0.2 faster than the rest of the field, so it doesn't look like there was much gained from that. But yeah, it looks like he just absolutely pulled his marks perfectly. So really nice stop from Phelps when it matters.
It does, and we've seen JCW there. He was on the lead lap just when that caution came out, so he's circulated around, and he will have control of the race and restart the race with Dyson on the outside and Phelps and Foster on the next row. Mark Smith's having a great run as well, up in 5th place, sitting there. And Matthew Raymond, who has worked his way up, now sitting in 6th place, up 16 spots.
Biggest mover of the night, though, was Jerry Nankervis in 7th, with 17 positions.
And O'Shea, 13th position after that pit stop. So yeah, just I could see it in the background that he just couldn't get lined up and he had to back it back and that wasn't over enough, and then he ended up having to be on a really weird angle to get the pit stop done.
Yeah, it's all about getting those marks perfectly, and it's not easy to do, of course. You don't have a huge field of view in these cars, and it is quite a sort of solid position. But the pace car is coming in. We're on lap 36 here, and it is JCW leading away, getting a good restart there ahead of Dyson. JCW leading us away now. Gets up in front of Dyson. Reuben Phelps looking to try and make a bit of a move on Foster. Can't quite make it work. It is Carroll, Walden, Dyson, Foster, Phelps, Smith, Raymond, Pritchard, Nan Curvis, O'Shea and Jordan in the top 10.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see just how hard JCW fights for this position once, because I imagine Dyson's going to be coming up on them pretty soon. A couple of lap fresher tyres. Actually, we can have a look and see. So 4 lap fresher tyres for JCW as he's really putting the hammer down, pulling away from Dyson.
We did see, though, that last time round it did affect him a little bit. Of course, JCW is going to have slightly warmer tyres as well. He got a couple of race laps in on those tyres, so his tyres are a little bit older, but those tyres will be straight up to temperature, whereas people like Dyson and Foster might need a couple of laps to bed them in a little bit, and that can always be a bit of the problem part there. Looks like Tristan Koch might have had to do a drive-through just because of that late pit stop. I was wondering if you might have to serve that one, unfortunately, because you only have I think you only have a single pit window to come through, so I think Koch might have to serve a penalty for that.
Yeah, I think an entry on the pit road when it was closed, maybe.
It looks like he's got maybe even a stop hold penalty, that's very painful. It's never fun when those things happen, but everybody's got away nicely up the front. Looks like everybody's relatively settled at the moment, which is good news. So not too much crazy action at the start, but we saw last time round the start of the stint was a little bit calm, and then it all went crazy in the as soon as we got past those sort of about 10 lap mark. JCW is going to hit that mark much sooner than the rest of the drivers, though, so he is probably going to be struggling a little bit come the next 5 laps.
Yeah, he's definitely built himself a 1 second buffer, and we'll just have to wait and see when Dyson and Co start coming back from that. But they're nicely spread out there at the front. Dropping back as we see O'Shea's looking to make a run on Matthew Raymond. He'll have the inside line, so he should be able to get this one.
Matty Ray just lifting off into the entry there, not fighting, not contesting that one. Smart move there by Matty Ray. He sort of managed to keep his line, which is important, and keep that car on the racing line, of course, not running up on the dirty parts of the track. So sometimes it's worth not pushing too hard in the early stages and then coming back to fight laterally on. And I think that might be what we're going to see from Matty Ray.
As we see Norman Clark make the pass into 10th. Just gets by Kobe Jordan there. And I think Stent in the background there, looking to make a pass. He gets that done.
Toby Stent there working his way through in the green machine. He is getting a nice little run now. Of course, he stopped the same lap as JCW, so his tyres will be nice and up to temperature. He's gained a fair few positions on this restart because of that little tyre factor, but he's got to fight his way through a lot more cars. He didn't get as lucky as JCW. He came out at the back of the field and had to go right to the end of the line, so that has cost him dearly and really hurt his race.
It has, and he's certainly taking a little bit work to get back up through the field, whereas O'Shea, who started I think 13th, I think he restarted, he's already up to 5th, so he's really cutting through the field. As we see Stent looking to make another pass. not able to do it.
Not quite able to get the car then. It's not the easiest of tracks to pass on in a cup car. It is it's quite a wide circuit, but it can narrow quite quickly in these cars because they are very big, heavy machines, and they can be a little bit of a pit to get around here sometimes. So it's not the easiest place to go side by side, lap after lap. Also bearing to its slightly odd, squarish construction.
Just jump back up and see how O'Shea's going in 5th spot here. Kind of sort of plateaued out a bit now. He's sort of 4.7 seconds off. But just keep an eye on that and see if he is able to chase down that lead pack, all those lead cars.
Yeah, he's sort of in a bit of a no man's land position, similar to what we saw JCW earlier on in this race. The stint is trying to get past there side by side with Jordan. Gets up through, nice little pass there. He's working his way up just behind Norman Clark now. And Luke Kenny there as well in the Matt's favourite coloured car of the night, I think. That's won his heart over. Of course, quite a few cars with battle scars out there as well. And it looks like a few of them are struggling a little bit on this restart as cars are sort of on equal tyres almost. Paul Drady has fallen right down the order, as well as Brenton Henderson as well. So those cars that sort of had those battle wounds and that bit of a whack in turn 4, they are starting to struggle a little bit on the restart, but they should come back a little bit as the stint goes on.
See my favourite yellow car making the move.
The question is can you actually claim copyright on that one and claim it as your own, Matt?
I think that's the Starcom one, isn't it? I think Quinn Hoff used to drive something similar.
Yeah.
Not much of a driver, but that's a bit rude of me to say not much of a driver. Any driver who can race in a NASCAR in real life is a hell of a driver. But sort of one that was sort of like a right down the field, sort of a start and park sort of thing, but they always had a really cool paint job.
A journeyman driver. Sometimes they're the best. They're sometimes everybody's favourites, of course. Those drivers that don't quite achieve the wins and the notoriety of some of the more successful drivers, but they're there and they're absolutely competing every race and just going out there and going out there because they love the sport. And those are the kind of people that we love.
Well, I tell you, you want to keep your eye on them when you go to a super speedway. Of course, at Daytona, the real life Daytona race, a lot of people put multis in on these guys who normally run in the 35th position. Put a multi on them to finish in the top 10 and turned like a couple $1,000 into $1 million.
Yeah, they're the ones that the experience. They have that experience, and because they run sort of in the lower ends of the package. Oh, JCW having a big moment! Does he save it? He just about gets it saved before pit entry there. He almost went into the wall there, but Foster's going to get a run on Dyson now, who had to ease up a little bit as JCW had that moment. Foster gets the lead of this race past Andrew Dyson. JCW has saved the car. Dyson looking to make his run back on Foster now. Gets the up and under on Foster out of turn 2. Side by side, the cars are very equal at the moment. DPR versus Notari, the Godfather versus Dyson. Who is going to get the run here? Who is going to ease off into turn number 3? Looks like Foster just lifts a little bit there.
Yeah, inside line. Inside line's definitely the better place you want to be there. But I think JCW, yeah, maybe we need to get a message to him that there's easier ways of letting the 2 cars behind you get past. You can just lift and coast for a little bit rather than sort of maybe get it loose off turn 4.
He's getting the extra points for the drifting drifting championship. Good save by JCW. Again, turn 4, his nemesis tonight. He's lost a position. Reuben Phelps now up into 3rd position. So he is moving his way up nicely in the 0-6. And now O'Shea is on the back of Carol Walden. So watch out for that battle. I'd probably say at the front it's going to be pretty not much is going to happen. Foster, I imagine, is going to sit behind Dyson and just help with his fuel mileage. O'Shea now making the move on Carol Walden. They're side by side through the corner. Walden should get a better drive off the corner here, but it is tricky as they make contact coming into the turn. They manage to hold the car there. JCW again losing the tail of the car, manages to save it, keeps the car pointing in a straight line, but again, a little bit of rubbing there. Rubbing is racing, as we say, but it can be a bit dangerous when you're heading into a corner around 280 kilometers per hour.
Yeah, it's a bit of a fast track to be able to be doing a little bit of rubbing and moving people out of the way, but it's not really sort of just drifted up there, I think, a little bit, and certainly crowded. You want to crowd the outside car out a bit so that they get less of a good run and make it easier for you to get past. But I think
Very much.
JCW's, those tyres have heated up a little bit now, worn off, and he's certainly struggling a little bit.
That is it. He's on lap 17 of this stint now, and so I think that's around about the 20 lap mark is when they really start to fall off the cliff, and this is what's happening to Carol Walden. I think the same's going to happen to Stent as well, down in 11th position. He is getting to that sort of drop-off point as well. Of course, those two came in about 4 laps prior to everybody else. Of course, they got caught out by that caution, but that is going to mean that they're going to sort of be off strategy a little bit, and that can hurt you as the race goes on. Just up at the front, Dyson is pulling away now. He's managed to bring it out a 1.5 second lead over Foster. Those two sitting in front of Phelps, who is around about 3 seconds back from Dyson at the moment. Phelps sitting there, but he's got a nice little gap between himself and O'Shea. O'Shea sitting in 4th with Carol Walden in 5th. Mark Smith's having a good run in 6th position, where he qualified, so started 6th and he's currently sitting in 6th. You can't ask for more than that tonight. Good little run there with Tom Pritchard in 7th. Then it's Matty Ray in 8th position, having a good run on Pritchard now. He might have an opportunity here into turn 1. Will he take it? Might be a little bit far at the moment. It's just going to sit in there a couple more moments. And then Jamie Nankervis 9th, Norman Clark in 10th. As we hit lap 70 of the Inside Lane Productions Triple Crown race, round number 2 here at Indianapolis.
Only lap 50.
Oh, lap 50, sorry. 70 laps to go, sorry. I was looking at the wrong number on my screen. 70 laps to go here tonight as we hit lap 50.
Oh. They were looking like they were going to go 3 wide there with Matty Ray, Nankervis and Norman Clark. But Nankervis sort of bailed out of it. And nothing really changed.
It was Pritchard's losing the front. Back end of that car started to step out on him as he went through turn 4 there. He saved it, but those things are looking really squirrely at the back at the moment. I would not want to be driving in this race.
I think we must be getting up to, actually, why don't I have a look and tell you? Yeah, that's right. So we're up to about 16 laps now on since the last pit stop, or since the restart of the race. So this is about the time where we start seeing guys really getting loose off the corners here and really having to hold on for dear life into the cars.
Yeah, very much so. It's they're basically hitting the lap where Joshua Carol Walden was when he had his big moment. So they're sort of on those stages now. As Toby Stent makes a good move on Jamie Nankervis there, up into 9th position. He got past Clark and Nankervis on that lap. Good battle going on here in the mid-pack section of this race. Some good driving going on here and some good passing as well.
Stent's doing a great job. Trying to make up from that obviously bad fortune on where he was when the caution came out. But yeah, he's doing a good job of just making up positions and climbing back. He's 9.4 seconds off from the lead, so yeah, if he just keeps going, he might be able to get himself back into the top 5, and then hope that there's another caution that might work in his favour this time.
Well, that is what he's going to keep his eye out for. We've got some action up the front though. It is O'Shea versus Phelps now for 3rd position. O'Shea is starting to really put some pressure on the rear of Reuben Phelps in the pink DPR car.
Purple?
Yeah. pinkish purple.
purple?
Yeah.
Oh, not purple. What am I thinking? Yeah, you're right. It's like a dark pink, isn't it? Not purple. Got confused. Like a dark pink.
Yeah, it's that. Trying to think of the exact name, but it'll come to me in a second.
It's probably some fancy name like moon glow pink or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's
Unicorn pink.
fairy pink or something. I don't know, but
I'm just
weird
looking
names
at
for colours now.
my old color chart right now, and it's hovering over the ruby, ruby
pink?
sort of. Yeah, about
Oh,
ruby, I'd say.
excellent.
From my eyes, so yeah, I'm going to go with that. But yeah, they are having a good little battle at the moment, and Phelps is just defending nicely here.
Magenta. Abigail Foster
Yes,
in the comments chat
That
says it's
is
magenta.
what I was trying to remember.
I think it's right. I think it's what it is. It's
Yeah.
magenta.
Oh, as that magenta car gets very close to the wall, it's gonna leave a big long stripe along that wall there, and that is not what you want to have happen. Eases off a little bit. The gap grows between Phelps and O'Shea as he has to resettle himself. Jai Schultz coming down pit lane again. He's coming in, I think, for his actual stop. Lap 25 lap. He stopped on lap 25. Sorry, it's 25 laps ago his last stop. So he's coming down pit lane to take his stop now by the looks of things. So coming a little bit early. Off a little bit off strategy for him. As O'Shea is making the move on Phelps now. You can see them flying through the screen. Here they go. And it is O'Shea on Phelps diving down the inside as they go into turn one. Beautiful little camera transition there by Matt. Absolutely catching that one. But Phelps has got a good run on the exit here of turn two. Tries to make it up through. Can't quite make the pass happen. It is O'Shea moving up into third position.
There's a good move. Yeah, that was a coincidence that the camera worked out at that time. I was actually just looking at a little bit of an issue here and trying to work it out. But yeah, it was more good luck or good fortune than anything that the camera was turned up on time.
They were exactly in the right spot at the right time. That's it. The driver's doing a good job.
That's interesting. I'm just trying out the obviously a debut for these new overlays and graphics, and just every now and again I get a bit of a lag spike on it where it takes a while to do anything.
Oh, O'Shea. Sorry to cut over that. O'Shea has disconnected. O'Shea is the third person to be struck by the dreaded connection issues tonight, and he has been dropped. Unfortunately, that's a big shame because O'Shea was having a great run tonight, giving us some great racing. That is a huge loss, and one of those drivers that was looking good to be racing up to possibly the win tonight, he has been taken out, and that's a big shame because O'Shea has been he's a road racing specialist, as we know, and very good on the dirt stuff, but he was having a fantastic run here at Indianapolis, and it's a shame to see him drop.
Yeah, it was what are we saying, packet loss or?
Yes.
Yep. So
Yeah,
service just not liking the connection and kicking them out.
Yeah, that was just a disconnect. That one. I didn't actually have any packet loss details there, so maybe just some kind of technical failure on rig or connection issue. But that is a big shame because he was having a fantastic run. That has given Reuben Phelps a bit of breathing room though, so he'll be pretty happy about that.
So yeah, now Reuben's out on his own and running around. A good buffer. He's got about 4 seconds to the car in front of him and about 4 seconds to the car behind him. As we look behind, there is a bit of a... Yeah, it's weird how those first 3-4 cars managed to skip out and get a good gap between them, but from about 5th and 6th onwards, we get this group that's always battling.
Yeah, this big angry battle pack. So the hornet's nest that has been kicked multiple times. Well, we don't have any hornets up there at the moment. Actually, you can see slightly colourblind. So they're having a good little run. But behind there is, I guess, there's that little pack going on. You can see there Luke Kenny, and Luke Kenny's having a bit of a run with Adam Ariel at the moment. Not seen much of Adam Ariel tonight. He is up there in 13th position, having a good run at. Nice to see there. And he's having a decent run at the moment in the mid-pack, just getting up ahead of Luke Kenny.
That's definitely a pink car, isn't it? Pink wheels.
Yes. I would say that is pink.
Maybe a bit magenta on the car body, but definitely pink on the wheels.
We have to get the old colour charts back out again. But no, good little run there. Of course, we have the sky blue car of Joshua Carroll Walden up ahead of Mark Smith in the dark blue, with Maddie Ray on the back of him. So these three cars are having a good fight towards the front of the field. This is for 4th position now, as JCW runs up a bit high. Of course, he is on those very old tyres. He is starting to struggle as he's now on lap 28 of this stint. He's going to be looking to come into pit lane in the next couple of laps, I would say. He'll be needing to come down pit lane relatively soon, much before the cars around him. I think he might be hitting his limits on the car in the next lap or two.
Yeah, so he's done 28 laps on those tyres now. Obviously, there would have been a few laps under caution, but he'll be getting close to that sort of that 30 lap mark. Ooh.
Big snap there, and you see that Toby Stent just behind him as all little bit of pushing on Matty Ray there. JCW holds it, but Toby Stent is now flying forward. Stent is on the same lap tyres as JCW as they're 3 wide down the start, finish straight. Stent on the inside, JCW on the outside. Matty Ray lifts off there. He decides to go, yep, you boys have at it. I'm just going to pull back a little bit. You're racing very hard. Oh, Carroll Walden washes up towards the wall, manages to save it. Stent loses a little bit of time on the low line. Those cars are looking very handful with Stent. It's a big wobble on the exit of turn number 2. Manages to save it at the moment, but I'll say watch these cars through turn 4, because I think that might be where we're going to see a bit of an accident happening.
Yeah, it's all on here. Definitely racing pretty hard on what seems like ice cubes on tyres, and they're all just slipping and sliding around.
Yeah. JCW has a big moment again.
He's always coming to the pits.
Yeah, I think he's coming to the pits more out of necessity rather than he was going to come in that lap, because that car started rotating, and he really just decided, yeah, I'm going to come in now. Toby Stent is probably going to come in the next lap or two, I'd say. He, as I said, is on the same tyres, well, same tyre life as Carroll Walden, but I think maybe just not pushing as hard in the early stages of the stint has helped him out a little bit. I think if you push a bit too hard, a bit too early, I think the tyres really drop off a lot at the end of the stint. If you bed them in quite calmly, I think they tend to hold a little bit better from what we're seeing tonight.
They do indeed. I'm just having a look. Just getting there. That's pretty weird. So weird stuff going on with the overlay system here, but that's okay. We're still going for now.
Well, that's all right. As long as it's still going, that's the main thing. Pritchard and Nixon now side by side as they go through turn 1. Those two having a bit of a battle. The 168 getting a run on Pritchard, of course. The 168 bringing out the caution some almost 30 laps ago now, as he had that spin onto the start-finish straight, but luckily nobody getting caught up in that one. Everybody managing to carry on as normal. But we are in that period of the race where stops might be happening. It is getting to that time. Currently fastest car out on track is Jai Schultz with 7 lap-old tyres. A good couple of tenths faster than the leaders at the moment. So tyres are starting to drop off a little bit. We might be looking at our second round of pit stops coming in shortly. So keep an eye on the leaders. Toby Stent doing a great job working his way up into 5th position now. This battle is going on as he's fighting with Matty Ray and Jamie Curvis. Stent doing a great job on this stint. Yeah, working his way back up the field.
That's a nice transition there. Stint on the stint.
Yeah, I had to really think about what I was saying there.
Yeah, so I almost mucked it up.
Luckily, you're a Kiwi, so it doesn't matter. You can say, you can just...
Yeah, that's good.
But no, he's having a really good recovery here, and he's been very quick tonight, Stent, and sort of that caution came out at the wrong time for him. but he has managed to get back up there and really having a good run. Foster in pit lane. 53 of Foster coming down pit lane, first of the leaders to come in as Maddie Ray looks to have a big slide off the corner of 4 there. So Foster has decided he's going to come in now and pull the trigger, and he's just going to hope that that caution flag does not fly, and everybody can get through with a green flag stop. It'll be interesting to see where he comes out in respects to JCW. Of course, JCW having a couple of laps now on those fresh tyres, a good 2 seconds faster than the leaders. JCW is absolutely flying. He's just ahead of Dyson at the moment on the track. So again, he's just come out in front of Dyson, managed to stay on the lead lap importantly. Foster is exiting pit lane as we see. The leader's just coming onto the start-finish straight now. So Foster should just slide out ahead of JCW by a good couple of lengths. But he's got those fresh tyres now, and that could be a big advantage for him. It's going to close that gap a little bit on Dyson, who had about a 3-second gap as they came down pit road as Dyson made contact with the wall.
Yeah, he just gave that wall a little bit of a rub there. I don't think it's going to be too bad, though.
Yeah, it looks like it's just that sort of touch that doesn't affect the car, luckily. But you've got to be careful with those because it is easy to get that damage if you just get that little bit hard. Drady in pit lane as well. Not too many people deciding to pull the trigger yet, as we see Foster getting past Fanley there. Dyson just keeping an eye on him now as he gets a big slide job on the exit of turn 4, but manages to hold it. That car is becoming a bit of a handful. Of course, the long run stage for Dyson, of course, he'll have fresher tyres when he comes back out, but he's going to lose. I'd say he's going to lose position overall to Foster if it remains green here. And we still have one stop. We still have what? Yeah.
Yeah, one more stop.
One stop. Yeah, one more stop remaining, of course. So it's going to be interesting to see here what Dyson decides to do, because you don't want to be stuck out there too long. Because we've seen tonight it can be tricky passing the cars. So it'll be interesting to see what he decides to do here. And Foster is... The gap between Foster and Carol Walden is about 3 seconds. So Carol Walden has gained a huge amount of time coming in that little bit earlier. We saw he was quite a bit off. But if those two cars can sort of link up a little bit, they can start running together a bit as well. So interesting to see how that one works out. They're a good 2.5 seconds faster than those out on track at the moment though. We see Stent having another move now, this time on Mark Smith. He goes down the inside on turn 1 and Stent manages to hold the car. Will he be able to stay there? Mark Smith getting a nice exit there, just gives a little bit of a rub on the bumper. Says, I'm still here, Stent. I'm not going away. I'm not going to yield this position easily. But Stent at the moment has managed to get back up into the top 3 in this race. Good recovery after that early caution. He's got Maddie Ray and Jamie Nankervis behind him with Mark Smith, of course. Mark Smith looking down the inside here of turn number 3. Doesn't quite make the move, but is just sitting there and just waiting to leap. Brad Fanley coming in pit lane as well, but keeping an eye on the leading pack at the moment and see what's going on there, because it's going to be interesting to see who comes in first in this group now, because we've seen the Natari cars. Oh! As caution flag is about to come out, as Pritchard has a big moment. That is going to bring us the second caution of the night here. Big impact for the Skypoint racing car of Pritchard, the number 6. Had a big slide off the corner. Again, turn 4, making a mark. Makes contact, goes down to the inside, spins it round, and... Brenton Henderson, I'd say watch on board with Brenton Henderson with that one, because he was very lucky to avoid T-boning that car.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get back to the replay, but it's not allowing me at the moment.
I'm gonna have to give it a good whack.
It's...
Get the old Russian screwdriver out.
Yeah. Oh, it's not looking good. It is. My overlay system has frozen up completely.
Oh, fun. That
Yeah.
is always good. We
Yeah.
love it when this kind of thing happens.
I love it when you do heaps of testing on it and then you jump into the competition mode and it freezes up like this. Let's see.
Look, there is nothing like testing it through being on a live race to do it, because that's generally when all the problems will happen.
Yeah. So we're just trying to see if we can find this incident for Pritchard. This is not happy.
So it was lap 68, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, lap 68. 67 for him.
I might have to do a bit of a restart here. So what we'll do is we'll do a restart of the overlays.
Get the intermission music playing.
Yeah, we'll leave the screen running.
Yeah. So I'll talk you through the pit stops, people. So they come down pit lane now, as they all enter it in. Foster coming in for a stop as well. So Foster's deciding to come and top the car up on fuel. So he's going to get a little bit of fuel put into the car. So interesting to see that one. JCW as well coming in down pit lane. I wonder if they're going to chuck their extra set of tyres on. Would be a pretty unwise decision, I'd say, at the moment. But they're all getting up there. So Dyson getting a stop done. And just looking at times, keeping an eye on that one for Foster. Foster changing rights only. So Foster has rolled the dice a little bit here, just changing the right side only by the looks of things. And the same for Carol Walden, I believe. No, Carol Walden may have done all four. Carol Walden's stationary for a long time, actually. So Carol Walden, I think, is getting some repairs done, or has an issue, unfortunately. Dyson has managed to get out in the lead, though, of that stop, with Reuben Phelps behind him. Mark Smith in third. Fourth is Maddie Ray. Kobe Jordan is fifth. Sixth is Toby Stent. This has worked out perfectly for Stent. Foster in seventh. So he has got those fresh rights on by the looks of things. Norman Clark in eighth. Ninth is Henderson, with Nankervis in 10th. Good run from Henderson tonight, who's having a solid run up there. Had some damage earlier on in the SRM machine, but he has managed to get back up into the running. So his teammate and team owner of Mr. Matty Ray will be pretty happy with that, having two cars in the top 10 tonight with the mobile brake and mechanical repairs entered SRM machine. We are, of course, on round 2 of the Inside Lane Productions Triple Crown event here at Indianapolis for the Weekend Warriors Custom Paint and Diecast Australian Stock Car Championship. It is, of course, round 30 here at Indianapolis for the full season, round 2 of the Inside Lane Productions Triple Crown event. So, as we tinker around and hopefully kick the overlays into wanting to work properly, we're going to get behind the pace car now, and you're going to see a few cars just getting let past. Mark Johansson's paid off well for this one, as he gets the lucky dog, and we'll get back onto the lead lap. Mark up in 17th position at the moment.
Yeah, I've got to try and get in the pit lane here cleanly and get back out. I had to stay out so I could get that lucky dog, but yeah.
That's all right. Just go down pit lane at 200 kilometers per hour. Slam it in reverse. Slide it into the pit box. You'll be fine. You can clear the penalties. So, solid run though. We've got 17 cars on the lead lap at the moment, as we are on lap 71 of the race. So that is a good effort from everybody. We have had a couple of cars out of the race. Of course, we've lost Tom Pritchard, who's currently sitting in pit lane, maybe getting some repairs done. Brad Fanley is the last car running. We've got 20 cars out on track. We've lost Dylan O'Shea, Michael Scullock, Brett Campbell, all three of those from some kind of technical failure, unfortunately. Brian Messer, as well as Dave Douglas, having big moments out of turn number 4 tonight. So, not a huge amount of cautions, which is good, but obviously getting into the final few laps of this race, I think it's going to start heating up a little bit now, as we've got a few of the usual suspects and a few of the not so usual suspects up in the top 10 now, up in those starting positions. And they're going to be pretty hungry for a good run here as the pace car pulls in. Does a bit of a swifty drift there as Dyson drops the hammer, gets away nicely here for the restart. Mark Smith getting a good restart there, as well as Matty Ray. Matty Ray right on the back of Reuben Phelps, trying to push him along at the moment, trying to keep ahead of Mark Smith. Gives Reuben Phelps the chance to get ahead of Smith there. A little bit of pushing from Matty Ray helped him out with that one. And he's got a really good run on the back of Dyson. They've got to be careful now as they're on cold tyres. Can take a couple of laps for these to get up to temperature. Keep an eye out for Foster. He's up into 6th position now. The Godfather is moving his way through the field nicely in the Atari car. Just getting past Kobe Jordan now down the inside. He's going to try and get down the inside there. Jordan just getting up into the wall. Manages to save it there. Matty Ray ahead of him with Toby Stent on the back. Just getting up ahead of Mark Smith, who's having a solid run tonight. Up in the top 10. He's battling away as they stand. Fighting away as they get across the line. It is Andrew Dyson in the lead, just ahead of Reuben Phelps, with Matty Ray in 3rd position, Toby Stent 4th, and Mark Smith in 5th.
The side-by-side action down the back as well, as we see Nan Curvis make the pass on Luke Kenny. That was for 13th position.
Really good runs out there tonight, and it's nice to see as well. And we were talking a bit about this in the Cup series on the ASCC the other night. It's just good to see so much close racing going on, and people are having confidence to race with each other as well. The Australian Oval Series have really been coming on leaps and bounds recently. Mark Smith and Foster getting so close to each other. They make it through. Foster just gets his way through there, squeezes through. Had to take a big, deep breath to get through there, I reckon. It got JCW behind them. So JCW there in 8th position. He's managed to get that car out there. Had a long pit stop for Carol Walden, but he's managed to get back up into 7th position after that restart. Really flying at the moment, JCW.
He is, yeah, and Foster's flying up through the field slowly as well. Slowly working his way through, but JCW is sort of flying. And of course Toby Stead's now got that track position back, so I imagine we will see him sort of fly up there as well.
Yeah, JCW's made maybe about 5 spots on that restart. He is absolutely scything his way through the field at the moment. So good job from him.
Passes Mark Smith for 6th position.
Importantly, he's managed to link up with his teammate right here. That could be useful in a few laps' time. They've got Toby Stent just in front of them, and this is where the cars will start to just get into that. Just want to get into a rhythm now and just get up there. Meanwhile, up the front, we've got to change of position. It's Reuben Phelps in the lead. He's managed to get ahead of Dyson. I'm just going back to have a little bit of a look because Dyson has dropped right off there. Dyson having a big moment up into turn 4. He just got up into the wall, I think. He got pushed wide by Phelps. And just got up there. So Dyson just moving off that place.
We saw Reuben trying to break the draft there. IndyCar style. Swerving down to the low line. Let's see if he does it on this one as well. No, it's going to hold it steady. Dyson's having a bit of fun, the draft.
Just letting everybody know, he's just realised he's on stream now. He's just like, oh wait, I'm being televised. Busy trying to get the TV on so he can watch the race as he's driving along tonight. Just heard from Neil Pearson in the chat, but he's just realised that it's being broadcast.
Oh, we better say nice things about him now then.
I've got to try and put him off, of course. I mean, that's the main part. Good run, though. Good run from Phelps at the moment, up there in 1st position. But we have seen that pushing early on these tyres can sometimes hurt them later on. So I wonder if that's going to come into effect. But if you can pull up a bit of a lead here, it'll be interesting to see. As we see now, the two Atari cars starting to get close to the back of Stent, who is himself getting close to the back of the SRM machine of Mr. Matty Ray. Those 4 cars are nice and close together. They're going to start trying to work a little bit of draft now and see what they can do. Dyson there just dropping down to try and break the draft, I think, from Matty Ray, trying to stop that group from getting close to him. He's trying some different tricks out at the front, but it's losing him maybe a little bit of time from Phelps, who's pulling away a little bit now. You can see Stent starting to try and put some moves on Matty Ray, and this could start dropping this group off now if they don't get past fast. If they start fighting for that position, we could see them really fall off the back of the leaders.
There's a little bit going on just behind them as well with Mark Smith and Kobe Jordan there. Bit of weaving, and I think they might have seen the cars up the front and trying to break the draft or something. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how effective it is compared to empty cars.
I think it's a bit like weaving the car on the formation lap. I think it's more so in the driver's head than anything else. It's that psychological thing it gives you. Makes you feel better.
Well, I'm pretty sure Dyson's just having fun with it, and he's still keeping pace. So
he's doing the exaggerated draft break.
Yeah.
As we see Jordan making a move on Mark Smith a little bit further back. Down the inside, Jordan's got the run here. Got a nice little bit of overrun on Mark Smith through the exit of turn 4. It's Jordan versus Smith. They're having a drag race down the start-finish straight here. And it's going to be Mark Smith who's got the overlap into turn 1, but he's going to have to stick up high. This could be Jordan's opportunity. If he can just force Smith up onto this high line, he'll probably have to ease off a little bit. This could be Jordan's opportunity here. Good racing going on. And Connor Nixon just sitting back there watching, licking his chops, waiting to make a opportunity on these two guys if they start battling.
Yeah, it looks like Kobe's just slid up there in front of Mark Smith there, and Smith doesn't look like he was able to keep the momentum up the corner to be able to come back and fight it for it on turn 3. It looks like Nixon's now sort of going to try and get a run on Smith. A few different lines going on there. Kobe looked like he got a little bit loose off the exit of turn 4. Looking pretty even at the moment as Nixon has a little bit of look on the inside, but
just up at the front, we've got a position for the lead as Dyson makes a dive down the inside of Phelps into turn number 2 and makes the move there.
Yeah, so we've just had confirmation in the chat that that Andrew Dyson doesn't believe there's any drafts. So at this track, the last few races here, so that all that weaving that these guys are doing is pretty much just for show or not really effective.
Well, it's kind of the IndyCar line, isn't it? Really, that line going down there. So it is a line of the track. Meanwhile, Stent's making a move on Matty Ray right now. They're side by side. Foster looking at making this a trio at the moment. He's going to go down the inside. Stent moves down, tries to block it off, doesn't have a chance to do it. Foster's got the run on the inside. Ray lifts off a little bit to sides. He's going to keep up there. He's going to get a run underneath Stent now as they come off the corner. Foster's managed to make it past both cars, weaving it between the middle. Getting down the inside, getting past 2 cars in one corner. Matty Ray has used the opportunity to get underneath Stent now. Those two are battling it out.
Yeah, and they're still going side by side here, although Matty Ray's just managed to drop in behind Stent now. Foster obviously got a really big run off turn 4 there and used the 2 cars in front fighting to his advantage.
Yeah, nice move there.
So see, JCW is just trying to find a way to get a run up the corner to beat Matty Ray. Matthew Raymond, sorry. All looks to be pretty settled and single file running at the moment.
Starting to fall into those lines as they're getting around about 12 laps into the stint now, and this is where we've seen the tyres start to get a little bit wobbly and the cars are starting to struggle a little bit, and I wonder if we're going to see that now. Some of those cars starting to struggle a tiny bit with the tyres as they start to fall off a little bit. Just a reminder as well, Foster looks like he went for right side tyres only, so he's only got this is, I think it's his last set of tyres in the next stop, so he doesn't have an extra set of tyres, I believe. JCW, I think, went for all 4 sets of tyres. So again, those 2 cars may be a little bit stuck if we have a late caution here. So that could be interesting to see how this one runs out.
Yeah, it's fairly settled, I think, throughout the field. Single file action. Dyson's definitely the fastest car on the track. Last lap was a 53.2. As you see, Kobe Jordan, Mark Smith and Connor Nixon all having that battle still. And Brenton Henderson on the back of that as well.
Yeah, I was about to say Brenton Henderson and Jamie Nankervis just finishing out that little group. Nankervis just a bit off there, but Henderson having a good run up in 10th now. Again, he had some damage to the car early on, so he's had a good recovery there. You see Norman Clark right in the background, as well as Paul Drady, Adam Ariel and Luke Kenny as well in that group. I think Tristan Koch is just up there as well, the 50-man himself. He is a lap down at the moment, following that penalty he got in the first caution, but he is the first car on the 1 lap down mark, so if we do get another caution, he will get the lucky dog.
Yeah, it's good to see Mark Hansen is still circulating around, which is great. He's 1 lap down, running around an 18th spot, so yeah, keep going, you never know, you might pick up some more positions.
I'm hoping.
And tonight has been one of those nights where we've seen quite a drop-off of cars, and a few cars having trouble. Of course, quite a few people having some technical issues tonight, which has been a shame. Brad Fanley is the final car driving tonight, so 19 runners still in it. But we have 18 cars sort of within a
What's
group.
happening on the front straight there, guys? Oh, no, sorry.
Luke Kenny Luke Kenny's got some damage to the front end, and somebody else has had I think somebody's going to pit lane maybe, or it's Grady.
Sorry, guys. I've just seen a big puff of smoke, that's all.
Henderson and Jai Schultz are in pit lane. There's been a big moment somewhere up here. I'm just going back to have a bit of a sift through to find out what's happened. Henderson's had a huge moment. He's had to pit, similar to that one from JCW earlier on. He's had a big slap of oversteer on the exit of turn 4, and he's had to come in pit lane, not through his own choice, because he's really just been forced down there, and that's what that big puff of smoke was. As I said, Luke Kenny's had a big shunt on the front end of his car. He's got a lot of damage to the front right of his car, but it seems like he's been carrying that for a bit of time, so nothing new there.
I think he has been. I think I did say that a bit earlier, that he's been carrying that for a little while. We did have a quick little look at that Henderson getting loose off turn 4 there and getting a bit of side-on contact to the wall, so that should hopefully not have done too much damage. Of course, if it hits more on the points, we think on the corners of the car, it sort of does more damage, or more possibility of damage to the wheel.
Yeah, of course, with the new damage model of these cars, we have seen they can be a little bit fragile sometimes if you hit them in the wrong spot. Often when you turn in the wheel and you hit the wall at the same time, it will damage the toe links and cause steering issues. So Foster is catching up to Reuben Phelps now for second place, so they are going to start battling it out shortly. 17 laps into this stint now. We've got 33 laps remaining of this race, so we are getting to that point where if we do see a caution now, they will be able to get home. So look out for some early stops as well from people who might be looking to roll the dice. Hopefully we can get to the end without another caution. Mark, make sure you don't wreck the car. As Brenton Henderson, I think, had another big moment. We've got a big battle going on here. Smith, Jordan, Nankervis and Clark all having a big battle up the front. Brenton Henderson is having to take that car behind the wall for a bit for some repairs, as he had another big hit off the wall. I think he's damaged the steering arm of that car.
Kobe got loose off turn 4 there and lost all that momentum, which means that Clark and Nankervis were able to get past him there. And Kobe Jordan is now sitting in 11th position. Of course, Kobe Jordan is
Yeah.
the man behind Inside Lane Productions,
Mm.
which are the sponsor, obviously, of the Triple Crown.
Absolutely. So getting his well-deserved airtime as well.
Having a good solid run there. Sort of was hanging back a little bit earlier, I think, and then now he's sort of working his way up, just on the edge of that top 10. Oh, I'm going to stop talking about him because he's probably going to crash because he almost crashed then. Commentator's curse.
Exactly. I mean, that is often the way it goes. So we won't say much more about that. Then.
No.
We'll keep him happy. But a good job from all the drivers tonight. I mean, the car has been a bit of a pig to drive here. A lot of people are really having to get through that turn 4 very carefully. But not. There's only been a couple of really big moments, and we've not seen any multi-car issues either. So great driving from everybody for these 89 laps. Good to see.
Yeah, I've been really surprised. I know this is probably going to be a bit of a commentator's curse, but just with how on edge the cars are, as we see someone down the back hitting half spin, I think Mark Smith getting loose off turn 4 there. With just how out of control the cars have been and how loose they have been, we've not seen a big accident that's taken out multiple cars all at once, which, yeah, when they're racing 4 or 6 cars on a pack and you can see the cars sliding around, they've all done a really good job to hold on to the car and save it and not set off a big one.
I've still got 31 laps.
Just
Still
don't
got
do
time.
it. Just don't do it in front of the leaders.
A driver that almost had a wreck is Reuben Phelps up at the front of the field through turn number 3. He had a big moment at the back end, stepping out, and that's lost him that second place. Managed to get the car back under control, but has got some front end damage now as he's clipped the wall going into turn number 3. So he's starting to struggle with that car. I reckon the tyres are starting to fall off a bit there for Reuben Phelps, unfortunately. Matty Ray has taken advantage of this as he goes up the inside with Stent just behind him as there's contact. Phelps holds it. Does he? Yes, he does. Just about holds that one. That was very close to a big wreck there. Great holding there from Reuben Phelps. Stent just had a huge run there, and I think Phelps just didn't realise he was coming up so quickly. Just that little bit of contact. He managed to hold the car. Really good save there from Phelps. That was very close to having a big wreck.
Yeah, it was a bit Step sort of just threw it in there, and you can see here just slowing it down. Reuben's coming down, and Stent sort of just dropped the car into the corner there. If there's overlap, he had space to do it, and then we can see Phelps sliding up the track there and catching it. So the banking of the track obviously helping him catch the car slide and able to get it under control.
And you could probably hear me just under breath all the way down that little straight there as they go down towards the next corner. It's very tricky to get the car pointing straight again. Obviously, because these cars are set up for banked corners a little bit, they can be a little bit troublesome to get pointing in a straight line again. And good save there from Reuben to keep that car from spinning out there, because that would have been too easy to have happen. Looks like Paul Drady has had to come in. He's coming in for a regular stop. So Drady's decided to come in for a regular stop. Quite a bit of damage on the front end of that car though. But it is just a regular pit stop for him. So he's the first car to come down pit lane. Foster into pit lane. Stent into pit lane. So we've got leaders coming into pit lane. Top drivers coming into pit lane. Jamie Curvis also joining these drivers. They've decided to pull the pin early. 28 laps remaining. They're coming down pit road. So they've decided now is the time to do it. This is when they're going to come into pit lane. Who is going to have to react from that? Who's going to stay out longer? Who's going to react to this one? Will we see Dyson deciding to pull it in? Or somebody like Matty Ray? Reuben Phelps, I imagine, will probably wanting to come in relatively shortly, as those tyres will be quite hot after that big save.
Yeah, I think Reuben will be wanting to come in because, as you say, his tyres will be hot after that save. Foster's heading out, and Stench as
Dyson in
well.
pit lane. Dyson is down pit lane, so Dyson has decided it is time to pit, and that is going to be Matty Ray is leading the race. Our one-time commentator for this week, joining up in the booth for the Cup. But Matty Ray takes the lead of this race and gets a bonus point, but he is now in the lead with Reuben Phelps in second. Phelps deciding to keep it out there a little bit. Connor Nixon, great recovery from him. We saw him causing the first caution of the night, but he has managed to get the car back up there and into third position at the moment. So good recovery drive from him. JCW is currently sitting in fourth with Mark Smith in fifth. Sixth is Norman Clark. Kobe Jordan in seventh. Eighth is Adam Ariel. Ninth is Luke Kenny. And then I think Foster is going to be in 10th position and just ahead of Andrew Dyson, maybe. Where is Dyson going to come out on track? This is going to be an interesting one.
I have him currently in 10th position. I don't think that's updated correctly.
Just jump onto Foster because he's about to catch Dyson exiting pit lane. You can see there in the same picture, Dyson had to pit to cover off Foster. One more lap and Foster would have jumped him. But Dyson just has enough room to cover off Foster there. So, we have got our race for the lead now. Both cars on the same sort of strategy. Matty Ray, how long is he going to stick it out there? He's got a good 3.5 second lead over Phelps. Of course, a late caution could really help these guys out now. This could absolutely change up the race. We can see there JCW getting very close to the corner with
Jay Schultz, I believe that is. Just who is one lap down, so yeah.
Yeah, Jay Schultz. He's on fresh tyres, so he has taken a stop. He's carving his way through the field, but he's stopped quite earlier. Mr. Ratty Raisin.
Ready May.
He's Ray.
He's in pit.
He is in pit lane, so he's going to lose a bit of time here to Dyson and Foster, but he should be able to come out relatively well. So it'll be interesting to see how this one plays out. So Matty Ray's just pulling away now, and you see Dyson has just gone past as well as Foster. So Matty Ray is going to lose a lot of time here. And that's the difference between those tyres. He will have slightly fresher tyres towards the end of the race now, but he's sort of in the middle of these stints. A lot of drivers taking it a bit longer. I think we'll see most of the top 8 probably trying to take it as long as possible, as Phelps and Nixon have come in. So I wonder how long these drivers will stay out there. Mark Smith now the leader of the race with Norman Clark in second and Joshua Carroll Walden in third. Two Natari cars up in second and third position with Mark Smith in first. It's been a solid run from Mark Smith tonight. He's been there or thereabouts all night, and he's currently in the lead of this race.
Yeah, and I've got him down as 27 laps on the stint so far, so I think he could still keep going. He might be rolling the dice a bit and hoping for a late race caution.
And with the well, if you're going off numbers, then it's probably wise to do that, because we've seen in the last 2 instances around this part of the race, we've seen a caution flag fall. So if you're sort of basing it off of that, then it's well worth rolling that dice. There's a good chance that somebody might lose it off of turn 4, and you could jump them for position. So interesting to see how this one will play out now. So a little bit further down, the battle between Foster and Dyson. They're going to want to try and get close to each other. Foster has to make up a fair few seconds, though. He is a good 2 seconds off the back of Dyson at the moment. He needs to close that up a little bit. Meanwhile, the battle for the lead is actually heating up as Norman Clark is looking to get past Mark Smith for first position. The veteran of the series, Mr. Norman Clark, in the 09, up there behind Mark Smith, who is coming in pit lane. Norman Clark is going to take the lead of the race here tonight with 22 laps remaining here for the Inside Lane Production Indianapolis round of the Triple Crown.
Yeah, it's a tough call with strategy, isn't it? Do you stay out, go long, run your fuel tank out, given that we've, at the end of all these runs, we've had a guaranteed, well, not a guaranteed caution, but, like a caution near the end of the run, so you could be looking at another one again. Or, if you play that card, though, you're going to lose out because the other cars are going to come in, they're going to get fresh tyres, and they're going to be a good 2 to 3 seconds a lap quicker than you. So you're either on one side or the other, and I think we're seeing probably Clark and Carol Warden definitely rolling the dice and hoping that there is a late caution to help them out. And that way they'll have a set of fresh tyres up their sleeve and hopefully be able to power past everybody else.
No, that's it. Of course, Carol Walden, he has taken another set. He has taken 3 stops and tyres, I think. So he is on his last set of tyres now. Clark has got a set of tyres up his sleeve, but of course they're going to have nice fresh tyres towards the end of the race. So they're going to have tyres that aren't going to be dropping off the cliff, so to say, towards the last couple of laps. So they might be in with the shout. They're going to have to do it the hard way though, of passing people. So it's not going to be easy to do. So it'll be interesting to see how that one works.
And if you look at those lap times, yeah, Norman's last lap time was a 55.5 and Dyson's was a 52.7. So it's about 2.5 seconds. Oh, we have a car spun.
We do indeed. That's Jai Schultz, who's had a big off into the corner. He's lost it in the middle of the turn, just in front of Tristan Koch, making contact with Koch as well. Koch managed to get away with that one, I believe, but Jai Schultz has not. A huge amount of damage, but we have remained green. But the front right wheel of that car is holding on just with a prayer at the moment. That was basically our third big incident on this sort of stage of the run, but no caution flag came out, importantly.
No, that was the caution that Norman Clark needed. But we just see there Schultz just got loose, unfortunately, and it just snapped out into the outside wall. And Tristan's just in the wrong place at the wrong time, couldn't do much about it. And yeah, on Schultz's car there, that front right tyre is broken. Wobbling around.
Yeah, that wheel is not going to be doing much more in this race. I think they're going to have to get a lot of duct tape on that thing to make it work. 18 laps remaining.
Norman remains out.
So interesting here. Interesting to see Clark and Carol Walden both sticking it out at the moment. With Luke Kenny as well. So 3 cars staying out at the moment. Luke Kenny sitting in third. He's got Dyson closing the gap on him. Amazingly, no caution there, as Neil Pearce was just saying. It looks like that was pretty much guaranteed caution, but nothing came out. I think that's just unfortunate, really, isn't it?
It is indeed. That would have really closed it up and given us a good sort of grandstand finish. Because I think if we got another caution and we closed all the cars up again, I think we'd have breeding cautions. I think everyone will be pretty aggressive, wanting to get the moves done.
Well, that's it. I think Ed Foster will be saying he is glad there's no caution, as he's used up his allocation, I believe. So I think he's used up all his tyres. He's only got a set of left in the pool. So he's going to be pretty happy not to see that yellow flag come out. Whereas somebody like Dyson still has a set of tyres up his sleeve.
Yeah, it would have been race changing for sure. As we saw, that wasn't the position. So
we did have Dyson passing Luke Kenny for position though. Luke Kenny, of course, on very old tyres and a bit of damage on the front end of that car. He is still circling out there. He's now on lap 33 of this stint. So he's taking a good long run at home. Of course, they'll have to change tyres. And you won't get much of a saving on transition time with the fuel, of course, with all 4 tyres being changed. But a good solid run from these drivers, so they should have some nice tyres to get home with. Pretty even throughout the field at the moment. I'm not seeing too much battling going on. Connor Nixon and Reuben Phelps, so they're probably the closest battle, but there's still a bit of distance between those two.
Yeah, and Nixon's done a good job. He to jump Phelps here as well. I'm just trying to think when it all cycles out. What are we looking at? 1, 2. So that would these guys, Nixon would be hovering around that 6th or 7th position, I think.
Yes, as Foster getting up to the back, Luke Kelly just had to put on the brakes a little bit. Had a very close moment there between those two cars, almost a bit of contact. As Foster now slides up past and gets up into 3rd position on those much fresher tyres. And he gets up into the wall.
Kenny went too deep on the corner there. I think he got carried away of racing there and just missed his brake mark, just drove in a little bit too hard.
A little bit more damage to the front end of that car. He's been doing good to handle that car with the little bit of damage it has, but those little rubs and scratches and things like that, they do add up a little bit, and I think that's going to help hurt his straight line speed a little bit more. Just looking up the front, and Dyson is about to catch Joshua Carroll Walden now for the lead of the race, and Carroll Walden's coming in pit lane, so
Yep.
JCW is pulling it into pit lane now, deciding that this is the time to do it. Of course, JCW is one of those other cars that I believe doesn't have a set of tyres up his sleeve. That means Norman Clark is now leading the race still, ahead of Dyson. 2 and a bit seconds between those cars. It won't be long until Dyson gets up to Normie, but Norman's going to be running out of fuel very shortly as well, so he's going to have to come in to get a top up of his tank as well. So some good runs through the field. We've got 14 laps remaining. Just looking through there, as you said, Connor Nixon having a great recovery. Toby Stent up in 4th as well. He's been having a good run tonight. Jamie Nankervis up in 6th position, 18 positions gained, with Maddie Ray in front of him, 17 positions. So the big movers of the night, Maddie Ray and Jamie Nankervis. Norman Clark 6th out for one more lap. He's done 37 laps on this stint so far. So he has definitely saved a little bit of fuel up his sleeve tonight. Good long run from Normie, and he'll have some nice fresh tyres to take him home. But probably not much he can do in the few laps we have remaining. But a late caution could absolutely see him come back to play in this race.
Yeah, I think once he takes a pit stop, just having a little bit of a rough look, I would say he's probably going to come out maybe 12th or 13th, right at the end of the lead lap cars.
Well, JCW came out 12th, just behind Mark Smith. Good 20 seconds back from Mark Smith, so I'd say he'll come out probably just behind Adam Ariel in 13th position. So
And Norman's coming in now.
Yeah. Good one run there. As we see Dyson just passing the lapped car of Mr. Mark Johansson, just along the straight there. Mark not having too much TV time tonight, but still out there in 16th position, having a good run out in the car and keeping on track and listening to us prattle on as well. So good job from Mark tonight.
He's doing pretty good, yeah. You know, it's hard when you've got the leader coming up behind you like that. All of a sudden you feel pressure that you're going to hit the wall in front of them and spin out in front of them. You haven't done it the whole race, so why would you do it now? But just, yeah, for some reason you start putting the pressure on yourself about that. But Mark's done a good job there.
What hurt me was when I was in pit lane for that, excuse me, in that first caution coming up.
Caution.
Caution is out.
Speaking of cautions, we've got a caution now. That came out just a couple of laps too late, and it is Norman Clark actually bringing out the caution. He's had a moment on the exit of pit lane.
He's on the road course.
Weird one there. He's just coming out of pit lane, and he's hit a bump that I've never seen before on the exit here, and that's absolutely unsettled his car and spun him around. That is bizarre.
He's way on the infield. I think is he lost?
His car is he's finding his way back now, but his car got looped around on the exit pit road. I've never seen that before. I don't recall. Yeah, I don't recall that he got huge air on the front of that car. It was almost like it went over a speed bump, and that just spun the car around. I've never seen that before. Just, but
Ooh,
I've never seen that bump
what?
before. I don't recall that bump being there.
Like he got like video. Look, it's like
Yeah, he got air out of it. It's a huge bump, and that's really unsettled the car, and absolutely caught Norman off guard. And that's bizarre. I've never seen that before.
I think
And
I think the reason why is because he's right on that white line on the inside there. Like normally you're probably
yeah,
not as close to that white line. You're probably more in the middle. Um, but yeah, I think because he's close to that white line, you can see it's hit a couple of bumps there, and it's just unsettled it, and round she goes.
this is good news for Dyson, Stent, Raymond, Drady, Phelps, Nixon, Jordan, and Curvis Smith. Bad news for Foster and Carol Walden, who have used up their tyres and they are staying out. So Foster is in the lead of this race, but he has got 17 lap old tyres to take him home. Everybody else is on a fresh set. That is going to be a horrible feeling for Foster.
Yeah, it's going to be. I'm a little bit worried we might see cautions on top of cautions now because if you're up the front there on old tyres, you want to do everything you can to hold off those guys behind you on fresh tyres, but you're not going to be able to do it. Not with maybe, not 8 laps to go, green.
Unless we get lots of cautions, I don't think it's going to happen. So
No,
I'm just watching the cars.
yeah.
Watching the cars exit pit lane, and yeah, that bump is definitely there. But I think just caught Norman off guard, being just so close to the actual road course. I think it was more pronounced than he thought it was going to be, and just absolutely caught him off guard.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only thing I can think of is that he was close to that white line, and I know I don't think I've, not that I'm much of a driver, I don't even sort of go near those white lines. I always stay in the middle of those white lines. So, yeah.
I mean, I've looped it many times coming out of pit lane. Just
easy.
not thinking.
Yeah,
in practice,
I can do that pretty easy.
Yeah, you usually come out in first practice session. As soon as you get out there, you just loop it around because you're not thinking. It's easy to do cold tyres, things like that. But yeah, I've not really. I'd say I've never had that issue before. I've never really noticed that bump before. So obviously, really caught him off guard and just absolutely shot the car around. So that's a big shame, and that has changed the course of this race as well. And as I say, it's really hurt his teammates there.
Yeah, it's buried him 15th spot, 1 lap down as well. So he'll have fresh tyres, a little bit scuffed from that slide there, but he'll have fresh tyres, but unfortunately he's 1 lap down and he's right at the back.
Yeah, that's going to be painful. And as I say, it's Foster and Carol Walden right now are going to be driving out front, and it's almost looking at the gallows as you walk up there to see the hangman right now. It is a horrible feeling. With 9 laps remaining, they've got nothing in their arsenal to fight back against this big pack of cars behind them. As Adam Ariel's just had a big blink out of existence.
Well, you know why that is. I was just about to say something about him. I was just about to say how good is Adam Ariel going? He's sitting in 4th spot or 3rd spot there, and
he's back. No, he's gone. He's gone again. He hasn't stopped though, so he's on 13 lap old tyres.
Okay.
He's
going to be struggling.
He's not going to have an easy run, but I believe he is going to disappear. He's going to be sent to the Shadow Realm, unfortunately.
Yep.
So a shame for him.
So I don't even need to talk about the drivers have a commentator's curse. I just need to think about it.
That's a preemptive commentator's curse.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, that is often the case. Because you've been doing too much commentating lately, Matt, you've got in one with the curse, and you're able to launch it from advance.
Yeah, but I tell you what it does. It makes it a bit easier for Dyson to drop down on that low line as we're away. Foster gets the jump. The drag race down to turn 1. JCW is throwing a big block. You want to be careful blocking.
He's got to be careful here. He's playing a bit of rear tail Charlie here, but there's not much they can do. Both of them are on very old tyres. JCW's got the fresher tyres out of the 2 Natari cars, only 7 laps old, but Dyson has got very fresh boots on his car, and he's just able to drive around the outside here. He's got the high line on Foster as they come down towards turn 3. Foster's not going to give up this position easily. Look at Stent trying to make a move. Stent moves down to the inside. JCW goes down to block it off. This is giving Matty Ray an opportunity up on the high side. Matty Ray's going to get a good drive through turn 4 here. Get past a group of cars. Foster's not going to take it too long. He's trying to hold on. Not able to do it though. JCW makes a run down the inside. Foster holds on as
Jordan's
had a big slap on the car. He manages to save it. Big moment for Kobe Jordan. Up front, it is Dyson in the lead. He's managed to pull out a bit of a gap now with Carol Walden just behind him. Matty Ray sitting on the outside. It's Carol Walden versus Matty Ray. We have seen sometimes that those tyres, just a couple of laps, it can help out because they're just a little bit warm and they can get up to temperature a little bit quicker. Goes Nixon. Nixon manages to hold it, but the caution is out. Nixon and Kent into each other.
Yeah, so this is what I thought. Caution's going to breed cautions. The aggression has gone way up. We've got a mixture of cars on old tyres and new tyres. So I think we're going to see a bit of this going on, which is what we sort of expect. But let's see if we can find out what happened there.
So, looks like Nixon and Stent made contact.
We might have Kobe's one first.
Yeah. So Kobe, it looks like he's just lost it off the exit of 4. We've seen that a few times tonight. Was it helped or was it just a moment? No. Looks like it was just a moment again. And the back end has stepped out. He manages to save it and just misses the back of... was that Pritchard there?
Drady, I think it was.
Oh, Drady, yes. Pritchard. Drady. Just misses the back of Drady, which is... lucky for Drady, because that would have been a nasty one. Just gets back on track. And then a little bit further up, Toby Stent and Nixon have made contact with each other. And it looks like maybe... it's a tricky one. Sort of Nixon's coming maybe a little bit hot, just gone up a little bit up into Stent. Yep. Spun him around. Stent's managed to sort of keep the car... going, so he came out the better of that one, but Nixon was right down the inside, managed to save it, but the caution flag came out for them.
Yeah, I think Nixon, as you say, went in a bit hot, pushed up the track, and hit the 189 of Stent there. Unfortunately, spun them out, but I don't think it's going to be too much damage. Maybe Nixon's tyres might be a little bit heated up from that, but I think otherwise it should be okay.
Got 6 laps remaining here now, so it is coming down to the wire, and the Toby Stent managed to save that one, and he's managed to stay in 8th position. Mark Smith in 9th, 10th is Tristan Koch. Koch managed to get a good run back. He was a lap down not too long ago. He's back on the lead lap and in 10th position at the moment. Just looking through the field, we've had a few cars drop off the league lap with those cautions, of course. Luke Kenny, Norman Clark, Mark Johansson all on a lap down. Adam Ariel is out of the race, unfortunately. Jai Schultz has managed to get the car somewhat circulating, as well as Brad Fanley, but they are a good lot of laps down. We've lost from this race Adam Ariel, Brenton Henderson, Tom Pritchard, Dylan O'Shea, Michael Skurlock, Brett Campbell, Brian Messer and Dave Douglas, of course. So, few DNFs tonight. A lot of it is more so from technical issues, unfortunately. So mechanical DNFs, we'll call it, in the sim racing world. But we've not really lost too many from multi-car pile-ups yet. So, still a few laps for that to happen, I guess.
Yeah, that was kind of our first sort of... Koch and Schultz's one was a multi-car one, but yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was more so with Schultz. Was sort of he lost it in the first place. Yeah, so that's the first portion from actual contact on contact. So I mean, good race from everybody, considering how tricky this car has been tonight. To make it that far without having the caution flag fly for them for multi-car contact, that's been a good run from everybody.
Yeah, I think with the way the car has been driving tonight and how loose it has been, it's been a pleasant surprise to go this long before seeing something like that. And you can understand why you would see something like that now, because, as I say, that's the end of the race. It's when the aggression levels go up. It's what you expect to see.
So one of Well, I was just going to say, one of the issues may have been with 4 is that you've got a tailwind coming through that turn 4, so and the wind's fairly strong tonight too.
That's right. I think check up our conditions again.
Wind speed of
23
22
kilometers an hour.
kilometers.
Yeah. From the
So
northeast.
that's it, and that's definitely going to affect the cars. And it's a funny thing if you've never sort of driven a racing car and never had the experience of it, or never driven a sim racing car as well. Wind can really make a difference on these cars, and it can really throw you off. So it's easy to happen.
Oh.
So looks like
I don't think any of our top 15 cars pitted that time around. I don't think they did.
No, Jai Schultz has come through pit lane again to get some repairs done. We also saw Adam Ariel come back out. So he's managed to get the car back from the Nether Realms and talked his way out of the Void Demon's belly and got back out onto the track. So Dyson is going to be leading away from this next caution. Pace car lights are still not gone out, so a little bit of time to go on this one.
One more lap around.
Yeah, that's quite a long pace car.
Yeah.
Quite a long caution there.
Yeah, for some reason it's come up delayed green, so.
Yeah.
See if the lights go out this time around.
I wonder if somebody had a bit of a moment towards the back. Just going back to a little bit of look, see if I can spot anything.
Looks like in the background, Kobe Jordan's coming into the pits.
Can't see any reason for that delayed green.
No. Lights are out on pace car now, though.
Yeah. But no obvious reason for that one, so I don't see anyone stopped out on track or anything like that, so strange. So if you don't know, we sort of, when we're up here in the commentary booth, I usually have iRacing running as well as Matt does, so I can scroll through and look at all the cars and see if there's any weird little incidents. And of course, Matt has the with the stream and the overlays, he can see incidents appear on his screen as well. So
sometimes,
sometimes it works.
If it works, it comes up for session event, but you've got to kind of try and guess what some of them are. Like sometimes it'll just say that somebody's driving slowly, and it's like, is that because they've crashed, or is it just because they're pitting?
Just because iRacing decides they drugs. But that's sort of how we do things up here, and it's sort of. Then of course I'm watching Matt's stream through Discord as well, so I can keep an eye on that as well. So I get to watch 2 races at the same time, which is nice. But much less work for me than Matt has to do, as he has to try and keep an eye on everything going on at the same time. Pace car is pulling in now, though. Will be one last corner, and we're going to have 3 laps to go here at Indianapolis for round 2 of the Triple Crown, brought to you by Inside Lane Productions, and of course the Weekend Warriors series, brought to you by Custom Paints and Diecasts. Round 30 here at Indianapolis of the regular season, round 2 of the Triple Crown.
I'll let you call this one, Carl, because I think it's going to be chaos.
And away they go. Dyson puts his foot down and gets a good lead at the front. Toby Stent looking to make a big move early on, trying to get underneath Nan Curvis. Moving a bit soon there, and that's a caution going to come out. That's a huge wreck across the line. Jamie Nan Curvis and Stent making contact, I believe. Stent moving too early there, getting underneath Nan Curvis before the line, so that's going to be a penalty on him. And Connor Nixon getting caught up in there as well, and pretty much everybody from behind there getting caught into that accident. So Nan Curvis, Stent, I think Paul Brady made it through, as well as Tristan Koch. I believe Connor Nixon may have a penalty heading his way. But that is a huge wreck across the start-finish line, and that is seeing a lot of cars. That's our first accident of the night. Worst place for it to happen as well, as it's a relatively narrow section of the track, because you've got those two walls either side, and you can see there Norman Clark caught up in that as well. Big accident there. Mark just making it through. Mark Johansson, it looks like he made it through unscathed.
Can someone please send some underwear down to pit stall 14?
I didn't think you were underwear, Mark. So not going commando tonight. That is breaking news for you, ladies and gentlemen. Mark's not going commando for the first time in months. But we'll watch on board. We see here Paul Drady just getting through. He just
Threads the
gets
needle.
through. Absolutely. I'd say watch from Mark's view as well, because he had a grandstand seat for that, and very neatly picked his way through all that chaos, and it doesn't look.
It's almost like Mark saw the accident happening and started braking and checking up.
Yeah.
Amazing when that works.
He saved that one. That was the close one.
Wow.
Mark, we'll get you a new race seat and a new seat as well, I think.
Thank you.
Next time you come down pit lane, we'll give you a stiff drink as well. So, Paul, big accident there. That is a nasty one. Mark also getting the lucky dog, so he's back on the lead lap. Mark Johansson are going to be the final car on the lead lap in P12. We've only got 12 cars on the lead lap, but a few of those have got damage now. This is going to bring us to a green-white checker tonight. Big wreck towards the end here. Quite a lot of fast cars caught up in that one. I think people that are going to be counting themselves lucky from this are going to be Foster and Carol Walden. They are on very old tyres compared to the rest of the field. Foster has done almost 27. Well, he's done 27 and a half laps on those tyres now. He's getting towards the magical 30 mark. If it had been green all the way through, he would be very much towards the back end of this pack. Watch out on the restart for Matty Ray. He's going to be starting from the P2 position. So this is the first time Dyson's had a real contender, I'd say, on the restart, as Carol Walden's on a bit older tyres. So these two cars are going to be equally footed for this green-white checker, of course. If you're new to the Oval Racing Series and not quite sure what a green-white checker is, effectively it just means that we don't finish a race under a caution. We don't like finishing races under cautions in racing. I mean, Formula 1 may do it, but we won't do it here. So the flag will come out, they'll have one lap of green, one lap under white, and then the finish of the race. So effectively it just gives an extra couple of laps of the race. So,
Don't forget
getting ready for this final bash map.
Don't forget if there's a caution at any time in those 2 laps that ends the race. Although,
Yes.
Do you have just one green-white checker, Mark, or do you have more?
Yeah, just the one. And I've been able to play a set of tyres, so I've got fresh boots.
Oh, you sneaky boy, Mark.
Talladega replay.
You've heard it here, ladies and gentlemen. Mark's going to win the race. He is absolutely set up for a guaranteed win now for Mark. That was coming from his mouth, not mine.
Or guarantee wreck.
But if you finish this race and you're not on fire after that, then that's good work, Mark.
Yeah, it's a hard situation because you're like, well, the next caution ends it, so you've got to go hard from the get-go and hope that you're not the caution and that you can get through whatever happens, if it happens, and pick up a good finish.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, you've got a few damaged cars in front of you, so you may have a bit of a chance here. Quite a few walking wounded out there. Probably the first car that's really damaged is Jonah Purvis 8th. Then we've got Luke Kenny, Mark Smith, Colin Nixon. His car is not in too bad a shape. He managed to get through that accident relatively unscathed, but did get a penalty. So he'll have to come in and serve that one. So it's going to be interesting to see how this one lines up, as the pace car will be pulling in very shortly to run us away. It is the 41, the orange DPR of Andrew Dyson in the lead, with the red and yellow SRM machine of Matty Ray on the outside here, getting ready for this final run to the line. Dyson is getting ready. When's he going to drop the loud pedal? Pace car is about to pull in. Away we go. Flag is dropped. Dyson gets a good restart. Doesn't get as much of a leap as he's had before. Matty Ray manages to hold it there. He's got Reuben Phelps just behind him. On the inside line is Carol Walden. Good run here from Dyson. He's just got a good start here. A little bit of a wiggle on the exit of turn 1 there. Matty Ray trying to hold it up there. You see JCW battling away with Reuben Phelps now, side by side as they go through turn 2. Matty Ray has got to really keep on the back of Dyson if he wants this win. A little bit further back, it is battles going on through the field. Looks like Tristan Koch is trying to work his way up nicely. Side by side, they come into turn 3. It is Carol Walden and Phelps, close as you like it, racing here. They are side by side as who was that in the background? Mark Smith, I believe, just having a bit of a moment, managed to save the car. Side by side still is Phelps and Carol Walden. Carol Walden gets a little bit of a wibble on the exit of turn number 4. Phelps will have a bit of a better run here. As the white flag comes out, you see Colin Nixon going in pit lane to serve that penalty. Up front, it is Dyson and Raymond. They're not quite battling for position just as of yet. Reuben Phelps has managed to get past. Carol Walden has he? No, they're fighting out. Still almost a wreck. They're really pushing it hard now for that 3rd position. Fighting hard. Looks like Dyson has got a fairly okay lead. I'll keep an eye on that one, but we'll keep an eye on this battle pack here, because this is where the action's going to happen. Phelps is trying to go left. He's trying to go right. Which way does he go? Going up on the high line.
Nan Curvis and the damaged car is right up there too.
Nan Curvis getting a good run there. Foster holding on. You can see those cars very close. Up the front, though, it is Dyson going to take the win here tonight. Dyson crosses the line in first. Matty Ray in second. There's a huge wreck behind him as Reuben Phelps comes home in 4th. Joshua Carol Walden in 3rd position. He managed to hold on to 3rd. Nan Curvis comes home in 5th. Paul Drady comes home in 6th. Great run from Drady at the end there. Foster manages to hold on to 7th position. Mark Smith in 8th. 9th for Luke Kenny. And Mark Johansson, working his way through that field on that fresh set of tyres, manages to avoid the chaos at the end and come home in 10th.
I'm going to see if we can find out what happened on that last corner there. It's around about there.
So a bit of contact here from Luke Kenny and Tristan Koch. I believe Tristan Koch just getting caught caught up in the wall.
Yeah.
Oh, unfortunate there. And that is the cause of that accident. And people just going out the way to avoid it. And
good job avoiding that one, yeah.
Yeah. Everybody managed to avoid that one just about by the skin of their teeth. But it is Andrew Dyson for DPR taking the win tonight and stylishly burning up those rear tyres and giving some donuts for those victory down victory line. Andy Ray comes home second, 0.160 behind Dyson. A good run from Maddie Ray, 20 positions gained in the race. Carol Walden managed to hold up into 3rd position, had to do some serious defending against Reuben Phelps in 4th. Nan Curvis comes home in 5th, 19 positions gained, great run from himself. Paul Drady comes home in 6th position, good recovery for that car, had some damage on the front after an earlier incident, managed to get it home and get it home in the top 10. 7th position, a bit of damage limitation for Foster on those old tyres, getting it home in 7th. Mark Smith, great run from him in 8th position, with Kobe Jordan in 9th, Mark Johansson in 10th. As we roll it over the page, it's Luke Kenny in 11th position with Tristan Koch in 12th. Connor Nixon in 13th position after that late penalty. Norman Clark 14th, 15th for Toby Stent. Adam Ariel 16th, Jai Schultz 17th. Brad Fanley, the last of the runners, I believe. Yeah, Brad Fanley, the last of the runners in 18th position. Then Brenton Henderson, first of the cars out of the race. Tom Pritchard 20th. As we roll over the page, 21st Dylan O'Shea, Michael Skurlock, Brett Campbell, Brian Messer and Dave Douglas early in the race. Wow, that was a bit of a grandstand finish then, that.
Yeah, it was. Definitely headed up at the end there with the cautions, breeding cautions, and getting all the action, getting all the cars all bundled up on different tyre strategies. So that was great. But pretty good race. Like all the drivers have done a really, really good job tonight holding on to the cars. It was a bit of a handful by the looks, and they've all done really, really well.
Absolutely. I might leave the interviews up to you, Matt, if that's okay.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Cool.
I'll leave that a little bit up to you, Matt. And
Perfect. I will see if we can grab. Just looking for some drivers in the chat.
we've got JCW down there. Do you want me to bring him up?
Yeah, I can't see the wood for the trees. Oh, there he is.
Yeah.
JCW, this Matt and Carl here in the broadcast booth. How was your race tonight?
Oh man, I don't know how to describe it really. Tried to go for the undercut twice and then got screwed over by the caution twice. So yeah, it's a very, I mean, I don't even know. Like, I guess this is a very bittersweet P3, even though I didn't have the pace for Dyson and Ed and Co.
Okay, and so obviously trying going for the undercut and having it backfire twice. Did you kind of go for a bit of an overcut at the end there, or did you just want to
Yeah,
stay?
man, because like when that caution came out after my second stop, I had to come back in for tyres because I knew I'd just be swamped and at the back of the pack. So yeah, from that third last restart, I only had one set of tyres left, and I figured with the way the race was going, that it'd be best for me to stay out as long as possible. And if yellow would come out at the end, which it did, I'd have the freshest set of tires available to me, even though they were a few laps older than the guys around me.
Oh, good. Yeah, definitely tyre strategy definitely played a part. Obviously, at the end of those last restarts, everybody else must have been pretty heartbreaking to see everybody else behind you pretty much go into the pits and grabbing fresh tyres, and you and Edward were stuck out there on old tyres and just battling as hard as you could to hold them off.
Yeah, it's one of the worst feelings really, and like that's I knew I had to make my car basically as wide as the track width, and I'm quite amazed I managed to finish in third place in the end.
Yeah, we saw a bit of door banging going on with Reuben there and fighting hard to keep Reuben there behind you. We also noticed that as well. It looked like around about sort of lap 15 into a stint, the tyres kind of overheated a bit and got a little bit taily. Was it sort of, were you finding that was happening for you as well?
Yeah, it was. Track tonight, was fairly difficult. It was essentially one groove track where you can fit three cars wide through one corner. So yeah, essentially, if you got too low, the back end would step out and you get all loose. And then if you tried to go high, the thin would tighten and you'd be heading towards the wall. So yeah, it was a very very delicate race tonight. A lot of small corrections, big corner, and it was just. I mean, I'd almost say perilous for the whole race because, if you drop the wheel a little bit, front left a little bit too low, then, you'll be getting fairly loose. So, yeah, it was never an easy race for any part of it.
No, it definitely looked like the every driver for the field was struggling with the car throughout the race with those sort of issues there, but everyone was doing a pretty good job of holding on to it. So, no, that's great. Excellent. Well, good finish for you. I guess the usual thing of shout outs to your sponsors and the co.
Yeah, shout out to Ed. Somehow managed P7 despite having 50,000-year-old tires. Shout out to Norman as well. He had a bit of a difficult night at the end there, unfortunately getting
Yeah.
disqualified.
Oh
Um,
no.
yeah, you got a black flag, and yeah, there was just confusion about how much time he had left before he got disqualified. But unfortunately, yeah, it was just one lap too many. Shout out to Daniel Heddershide as well. And yeah, shout out to our sponsors, AJD Australia and 44 Limited. Shout out to you guys in the com box, to you, Matt, Carl, Mark, and yeah, shout out to the admins as well of this league, Mark and Joe, for putting this on. And yeah, shout out to Dyson, because yeah, he was just the fastest guy out there tonight by and yeah, he just did everything. He did everything right.
Excellent, yeah, indeed. All right, okay, well, I'll drop you back down and enjoy the rest of your night.
Yep, no worries. Thanks, guys.
So next we'll bring up second place finisher of Matthew Raymond. Matty Ray, Matt, in the broadcast booth here. How are you going? How was your race tonight?
Hey boys, how are you? How good was that one, eh? That was alright.
Yeah, it was pretty good. You did your usual trick of work your way up from the back to the front?
Yeah, I even had help tonight. Jamie thought he'd do a little copycat and sat behind me most of the night, and yeah, together we worked our way through the field really good. We sort of started off on the first stint, just looked after the rubber, and then I don't know, I think it was about 10 or 20 laps in, we started putting the foot down a bit, and yeah, we're just picking them off one by one. It was awesome.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, so 20 positions gained tonight, so biggest mover of the night. How did you find the car to drive?
Not too bad, considering I don't normally like this thing, but yeah, around here it was really good. It sort of suited my style a bit, because I don't mind a loose car.
Yeah.
And we were tearing up the right rear a bit more easily than the right front, so that allowed me to sort of, because I was getting my entries pretty good, and then yeah, I could save the right rear a little bit, just looking after it, and then it started to become fun when she started stepping out a bit. So yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it looked like pretty consistently around about that lap 15 mark of a stint that everybody was really starting to have a handful there, like it was stepping out on them.
Yeah.
Especially on the exit of turn 4, looked like the worst.
That was the worst by far. Entry of 3 was really good. And entry of 1 started getting pretty tight towards the end. But yeah, coming off a 4, yeah, that's where it would snap on you or be a bit twitchy on the right rear. But no, it was awesome fun. It was good.
And I guess alluding to a comment in the chat from Noddy, did you think you get any sort of nosebleed or anything from running up too high?
It was a bit nerve-wracking, like being that far up the field too early, sort of thing. But I thought, oh well, got to get practice, because Hamish Gallagher keeps on threatening to. He keeps on telling me I need to start qualifying so we can bump bumpers, sort of thing.
Yep.
But yeah, I got to get practice being up there early now, anyway. Eh?
Yeah. All right. No, that's cool. All right. Well, I guess use your thing. Shout out to sponsors and the like.
Yeah, the usual list. Johnny Larber, Mobile Breaker Mechanical Repairs, is our primary. Does a lot for us, or does more than the rest of us, sort of thing. And Scotty at McLean Mechanical Repairs, Josh down at KL Crash. We've got Danny down at the Maid of Auckland Hotel. Zactastic Modding, he does all my logos and all that sort of thing. And I think that's about it. All the usual boys at the SRM crew. And you guys for putting all the broadcasts and everything on, giving us something to watch after.
Excellent. I think I should have I should have flown you over to New Zealand to do some work for me last weekend. I think
Yeah, what was that?
I spent 10 hours rebuilding my Hilux front brakes, so that was a
10
bit of
hours, Matt.
It was a pain. Yeah.
Yeah, bloody hell.
Did you make the discs yourself? Did you have to like pour them out and
to get the ore and then melt them down?
I think they've pretty much been never serviced. So I had stuck pistons everywhere and 4-pot pistons and
yeah, I
trying
know
to get those out.
Fun.
Yeah, we got there in the end, but maybe I should have called. Might have been better for me to just fly you over and get you to do it.
Yeah, might have been cheaper on the labour side of things, eh?
Might have been, yeah.
Oh, and congrats to Daiso as well. That was a pretty good battle with him there at the end. Had a bit of fun there.
Excellent. All right, well, enjoy the rest of your night. I'll drop you down and enjoy the rest of the night.
Cheers, man.
Cheers. Bye. Andrew Dyson, Matt in the broadcast booth here. How was your race tonight?
Hey lads, how you going? It was pretty good, man. Just firstly, thanks for putting on a broadcast. That was a nice surprise. Appreciate that.
That's all right. Well, yeah, Neil did drop in the chat that he that you didn't know that we had a broadcast on.
Yeah, that was good. He started watching and commentating on what was happening around me, so it was handy.
That's good. That's good. I think Neil sort of jumped in the chat when you were all starting to weave down the straights to break the draft, but sounds like there's not much draft that needs breaking.
Not really. There's not a whole lot of draft on this track. I mean, you've got to be really close to someone to get some draft. So when Reuben was kind of wobbling down the straights, I just kind of wobbled it as well, just for a bit of fun. Really, there wasn't really much in it. So
yeah,
I
thought you were doing it for fun.
Yeah, like you could see on that last lap there, like Matty Ray was like right on me, but you really don't get much toe. It's kind of strange, a little bit like Pocono. I mean, yeah, I don't think we're getting a whole lot of toe there either. But there's something weird about Indianapolis. Like every time we've raced here, and even in different cars, there's not a lot of draft. It's strange.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah.
that's the way it is.
Okay, that's weird. So yeah, you pretty much settled into the lead pretty early on. Yeah, you were happy. I'm just trying to remember what your strategy was. So sort of, were you looking to go sort of maxing out your fuel on your strategies, like 35 laps before you'd pit, or were you sort of to look at splitting it up a bit better or a bit more?
No, I was just gonna keep going long. I mean, when everyone started pitting on that after that first yellow, and we did about 30 laps or so, people started pitting. I was a little surprised by it. I just thought I'd just keep going, just to see what would happen, sort of thing. And then sure enough, a yellow came out. Well, not sure enough, I wasn't really expecting one, but a yellow did come out, and that played in my favour, and anybody else who didn't pit played in their favour too. So we had the extra set of tyres all the way at the end of the race, when there was like 10 laps to go, with another yellow that come out.
Yeah, of course you were one of the ones that kept a set of tyres up your sleeve and to use at the end. Did you find that we sort of were seeing that around about lap 15 into a stint, we were seeing the car sort of stepping out quite a bit and being a bit of a handful? Were you finding that happened to you as well?
Yeah, definitely. The car has this weird thing here where it gets a bit loose after a few laps, and I think it's tight early on, and then eventually it just starts getting looser and looser and looser, and you can see it with a few guys around me, definitely with me as well, and some guys in front of me were doing all the same thing. So it can catch you out pretty quick, that's for sure.
Excellent. All right.
I'm just going to say, we're going to have to start penalising you, Andrew. You've taken 2 major races, and you're definitely well on the way of taking a third trophy off us this year. So maybe we might have to penalise you, start putting some extra weight into your car.
Well, I didn't actually know there was another big race on soon, so I'll have to keep my eye out and jump in for sure.
Yeah, the last one of the season, the Daytona 500, it's part of the Triple Crown. So, you're definitely leading the points there for the Triple Crown.
Oh, well, thanks for the reminder, man. I'll see if I can gather some troops, and we'll jump in and try and do a bit of drafting and stuff, and see what happens. It's yeah, but you know what those races are like. Anyone can take a cheeky dub at those ones.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll have to chuck Neil in there to give you a weight penalty.
Oh man, he might be able to help me get around the track. He might be able to help me get around with some pointers.
I think you do it right. You won our one.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. Well, I guess usual thing. Shout out to sponsors and the like.
Thanks again to you guys for putting on the broadcast. I know this isn't your thing, but yeah, jump in and spend your time doing it anyway. So I'm sure Mark and all the boys at Weekend Warriors appreciate it, and all the drivers, they love that stuff. So thanks a lot to yourself, Matt and Kyle, for doing that. And shout out to the lads who are watching the broadcast tonight, commenting, all the rest of that stuff, and thanks to Simrigs and South Wales, Bemex Mechanical, Phoenix Smokers, and Peter Zines, and all the league sponsors and everybody else who jumps in and has a run. Thanks a lot.
Excellent. All right. Well, I think we'll drop you back down and enjoy the rest of your night.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot.
Cheers. All right.
Well,
so
what
there
a way to complete round 2, mate, of the Triple Crown.
Yeah, that was a hell of a race, that one. Good action all up and down through the field. Great driving on behalf of all the drivers to keep hold of that car, which was obviously a challenge. And that was a great race.
Yeah, definitely. And look, I'd just like to thank yourself, Matt and Carl, As Andrew said, you're not our regular broadcaster, and jumping in to help us out to fulfill sponsorship deals. It's great that we got a great community between us at Weekend Warriors and the ASCC crew, and I think it's only going to get stronger and stronger as the years go on. So again, thanks very much, yourself, Matt and Carl, and thanks for everyone tuning in on such late notice and watching.
That's all right, man. You jump in and help us out with commentary from time to time as well, and we really appreciate that. So you scratch our back, we'll scratch yours. So yeah, no, it's great. Excellent.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. I think that's covered just about everything.
I think
yeah.
so. I
Yep.
think Carl has Carl got any final words tonight?
Oh, no, I was just sitting back and kicking my feet up there. But of course, we've got an off week for the ASCC Cup and Thunder Series, so we've got an off week of broadcasting next week, which is nice. But the final round of the Triple Crown, Mark, that of course will be coming up next for Weekend Warriors.
No, the final round is actually round 35.
Okay.
And it's the 500 at Daytona. So hopefully I can entice you and Matt back to do that one, and we'll have to work out some type of deal there for that. But that is the final race of the season and the final round of the Triple Crown.
Exciting stuff. But yeah, absolute pleasure tonight. Great action out on track. A big thank you, Mark, as well for helping out as well and being up here as the third man that was also busy driving a car. So I'll let you finish up, Mark, and wrap everything up.
Yeah, I'd just like to say thanks to everyone for tuning in. Thanks to all the drivers that come out and make this series what it is. And thanks to the oval tracks community between the guys here in Australia and New Zealand for making what it is. Matt, thank you very much, and I'll let you close off.
Oh, no worries. I'm all good. Yeah, I guess thanks everyone, and thanks for having us. Good night.